way. We can start speculating a little bit. Charlie, do we feel like Na'Vi are just going to carry on playing this really nice? Do you feel like Artstar is in that really good mind palace right now where he's
yeah,
everything I do turns to gold. I don't have to worry about any crazy stuff. I don't have to pull in any crazy stuff that we might have tried in practice against these teams. And perhaps, I'm just thinking, he may well just be a genius because I've heard time and time again from almost every team I've spoken to, yeah, Na'Vi, not very good in practice, really, really bad. And here we are on the verge of fours. Has he not duped everyone here?
I don't think I'm going to say it wasn't intentional. They would like to do well in practice. You do want to build up that confidence. But I don't know. Like, what they're doing is really working. To be fair, I think the first series against Secret, I mean, Secret played themselves.
Yeah, they kind of lost themselves.
They made it easy for Na'Vi.
They really did, and now based off that, they're building up confidence here.
Yeah.
I will say, it's not that many games yet. I do want to see more out of them, but really just that Knicks pick was honestly a flash of brilliance.
Spot on. And Purge, I want to pick up on the opposite side of that. Are we getting too carried away with them too early? Because you mentioned this. You said kind of if they can win against Secret, and then they can, win again, and then they've won the group, and they're in maybe that kind of momentum is great for these guys.
Yeah, it's clearly going to be good. I mean, especially with their low confidence levels coming into the tournament. But I don't think it's going to make it an easy game still. Like DC, they had some things that looked good that game. It's just a couple small picks against a lineup that's very good at pushing, and all of a sudden the game ends. Like if they have a Beastmaster, an Avenge, and any physical carry, the towers are going to die really rapidly, so you can't make any mistakes, and especially not that close to your base.
Bearing in mind, we're all agreed that was a draft win for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
What did DC try and do in this second game?
I mean, I think their draft was relatively okay. If it wasn't for the Knicks, I think it would have been all right. They had great team fight. They had really good picks. They just never got to the point where they were initiating.
I think the roster was way too.
It was really greedy with the Phoenix together. It's like incredibly
the roster,
greedy.
yes, the roster was a little iffy, but even the first team fight went better than it would have just because of like the wards and stuff like that. I think it was okay. Not very good against Weaver, but it had some really good late game lockdown. Like having a Shadow Shaman in the late game with a blink gives you so many options. So
interestingly, we into draft now, obviously, and we have an Enchantress against them. So they've played against it, then picked it, then picked it again, and then played against it. So it's been an Enchantress in every single Na'Vi game.
It worked really well for Na'Vi when they picked it against Secret.
Yeah.
Secret had that 4-position jungling Beastmaster, and Artstyle just went in there with the Enchantress.
Yep.
3 people chasing him in the jungle created so much space. And it's a great hero for it can help out lanes while also being greedy.
Yeah,
so they've had 4 games where they've wanted to pick it, got it picked against them, and they've got the perfect response every time.
Yeah.
So this doesn't seem too bad for them right now.
It's looking okay. I do like Enchantress. I mean, Enchantress worked really well that game as well because they did a full jungling Beastmaster. If it's offlane Beastmaster, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be able to exert that much pressure. If they just have a safe tri-lane, they're just going to tri-lane, and assuming they have at least one creep counter like Potom or Crystal Maiden, they can deal with it. But Enchantress going in the late game is also good against Beastmaster. You can steal the Hawk, you can steal the Necros. It's going to force them down a different build path.
But just on a quick note, the
DC.
draft, even when they did the second ban, you never want to go into bonus time on the second ban, and DC already went into the bonus time on the second ban. I'm pretty sure they're definitely mentally affected by the draft loss of the other game. Like, you can definitely see it. Even now, in both picks, they went to bonus time each time, and I think they're really thinking way harder than it. They really should,
What do we think? What do we think about the Mirana Enchantress opening? Because we've seen this already as well.
I'm thinking they don't want to pick Phoenix into Knicks again. That's what I'm thinking.
But like, the Mirana is picked up with the Eng because Mirana as a hero, if it's a support hero, you can just buy boots, you just follow the Enchantress around, and the hero basically becomes worthless. Because one-on-one, an Enchantress can't fight a Mirana, and that's pretty much why they picked it up together. And they like to run it as a carry too, as a carry bottom.
There is the Phoenix.
Yeah.
That first game was so important for Na'Vi, just not for the win, but for what it meant for the rest of the draft. Look at this. Na'Vi gets to pick up both the Beastmaster and the Phoenix now.
Super comfort zone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I really think that they're focusing too much on what happened the last game.
Yeah.
I really like.
It's still in their head for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why Artstyle was just sitting there going,
yeah, I said like, you see my plan? My plan is perfect. I'm in their head.
He got in their head with a pocket pick that hard countered his opponents, but may not even come out this time.
Yeah, and it makes Digital Chaos rethink their their entire game plan going into it. And that's what a game like that will do. Games like that are super important. It happened, it's sort of like, remember when EG lost so many times to Broodmother? And then
I'm sure you remember. I don't remember.
yeah,
So
and then,
do remember.
yes, and then they tried to pick 4 Brood counters, and they were all melee into an axe, and they just got completely destroyed. Like, you overthink things, and then you just sort of beat yourself.
Well, again, we can agree.
So they're going to take the Drow away from them this time.
and Chen. So can art style tri-lane? Maybe he'll do a roaming here. Who knows?
He likes Witch Doctor, right? His Witch Doctor is really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has already been picked game 1 against Secret.
Yeah.
Pretty good against Morana too.
He got
It's
a really
great
good
against Enchantress as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're gonna pick up Witch Doctor if they can. Oh, to be fair, I've only seen him play 3 heroes, which is Enchantress, Chen, and Witch Doctor. I don't know what else he can play.
Staying away from the Dazzle.
Whoa. I think part of the interesting thing about that is that very few teams are ultra prioritizing Enchantress Chen. Like usually when that hero or those 2 heroes who are semi-similar get popularized, every team is picking them. But this is a case where Navi's a team that says we're playing these heroes as often as we can. And it's weird that they're the only ones that are doing it.
DC is not bad at it, but obviously this time they just stole it from them, so they can't do it themselves. Like they would definitely have picked the Enchantress right there after the Beastmaster if they've gotten the chance to.
And it protects them against the Beastmaster as well. So it's still a decent pick. It's not like they completely put themselves in the corner.
I mean, Misery still plays an amazing Enchantress, so
10 seconds remaining.
there's nothing wrong there.
So all initiating heroes for Navi that they're going to ban. Batrider and Puck.
Yep.
And DC banning all pushing heroes. It's basically how they lost instantly last game. They had such good push synergy. They still can go for Avenge, so they could still do Avenge. Beastmaster.
Would lead to a very strong push again.
I'd like it. So DC basically has to frame their team now.
But I think they will pick up Witch Doctor next, Navi that is. Because they still don't have a really good hero against Enchantress, and they definitely need something to shut down the aggression of the Ench.
Yeah, probably Witch Doctor, I agree. Especially just Death Ward is so good.
Yeah.
Comboed with Beastmaster Roar.
On top of that, I could even pick the carry Void again. It's really good together with Phoenix and against their lineup as well. Like because they usually run carry Potom, and the carry Void like completely destroys carry Mirana.
It's also great synergy with the Phoenix again.
Yeah. There's a lot of good synergy that Navi has at their fingertips.
What is DC gonna pick? If they predict that Void pick, for example, they could just pick an Avengeful right now. Would be pretty good.
There are probably so many different things running through Misery's head right now.
Oh yeah. He's under a ton of pressure.
And not much time at all left here either.
Yeah, because they take Void themselves.
Okay.
I like it.
So that's the block pick effectively.
Combos with the Mirana, obviously. You can get like an Echo Saber and be pretty darn good against Phoenix Egg.
Even late game with an Enchantress, it's like she can do so much DPS inside of a Chrono. It's a really good pick here for them. And they block it from Navi too, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was very smart. Yeah, very smart out of Misery.
I'm not sure whether they should pick Venge or Witch Doctor now. I think Venge is actually a better pick right now.
That way you can swap out of Chrono.
I agree. You can swap somebody out of Chrono. You can swap somebody that's been arrowed as well.
Yeah. And you can swap somebody into your own Roar. Like late game, if you swap the Void into your Roar and you can just burst him off, for example, it would be really good.
Again, the Aura is also great synergy with Beastmaster as well.
Man, you know, people are going to judge me for this, but I think Anti-Mage would be incredibly good for Navi, man.
Why on earth would anyone judge you for that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Are you trying to live vicariously through Ditya Raw right now?
I do, man. My dreams are.
Okay, it is the Witch Doctor.
But they did pick the Witch Doctor, yeah. They're sticking to their guns.
I was actually thinking maybe there would be an Invoker on Navi's side, actually. Since Cold Snap Phoenix Sunray is so good, they can do a lot of setup
but then
with
again, like,
Sunstrike Roar.
Void hard counters Invoker too, until you get like a BKB. Well, now they picked it up themselves. It's really good with Void.
Yeah, so it's Exort and Invoker clearly for DC here.
It has to be.
Sunstrike after arrows or Chronospheres.
Yeah, it's a really good pick for them.
5 seconds remaining.
So what is
I don't know.
Navi pick?
Navi needs a Chrono save though. Like they need a hero to save somebody in a Chrono. Like somebody's just gonna die instantly.
Or they need a way to kill Void before he Chronos. Like a Silence.
They either need
hero.
great initiation or a save. So what could they get for mid?
I could see them.
I mean,
they
did run a lot of Tinker. Tinker wouldn't be terrible here. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Black God.
Just
Black
in time.
God.
It doesn't mean that as much if you say it right
Draft God Black.
I mean, like they did they did pick it a lot in the past, and it's actually really good against them. He can avoid both the Invoker and the Void, and of course, like Eng and Mirana will never get close to him unless he actually catches an arrow.
Yeah, plus laser can stop Void from hitting.
Together with Beastmaster as well, you can just teleport on the Hawk with the BOT.
Yeah, you're right. It's really good in the draft here.
Yeah. What are they going to pick as carry, though? It's going to be really...
It's Tinker.
Well, I think you should tell us, Black.
I mean... It would be too easy if I told you everything.
Oh, right,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
You're holding
that makes
strats,
sense.
Right, guys? Like,
saving strats for what, TI7?
Oh,
10 seconds remaining.
that's a burn. It's a nasty burn.
I mean,
Don't listen to him, Black.
I won't listen to him because I still have the power of anti-mage in me.
Right.
And it can always make it work. Like, the
can't.
I'm sorry, it does not work here, dude.
Yeah, you can't
I'm
do it with
sorry, it
Tinker.
does not work here.
It'd be like
Hey.
3 protect 2.
To be fair, DC picking an AM would not be terrible here. Against Tinker, it would be one of the best choices, in my opinion.
What's German for crowbar?
Please, I won't tell you that.
No.
There's not a lot
That's
of
what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to crowbar that anti-mage in here.
there's not a lot of Germans here, so you don't have a lot of choices.
Listen, you've been very good so far. We're all very impressed, but
No anti-mage.
no
No.
anti-mage.
If this is anti-mage now,
No, Navi's not gonna pick AM.
If this is
if DC pick AM, I'm actually just gonna leave this room. Like, I'm just gonna go.
Reserve time.
okay, 20 seconds.
But what is
We'll
Navi
find
gonna
out.
pick? They need like a somewhat active, tanky carry.
I wouldn't
Or
necessarily call
not.
it active, but
tanky at least.
Yeah.
tanky, so you're half right. You're half right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, again, Tinker can BOT on the bear. Lone Druid plus Tinker has always been really good together. You just march the tower, and the bear just hits the tower. It's really hard to defend.
You can also TP onto the bear, and then bear can survive through
It can,
Chronosphere.
yeah. And
Chronosphere.
no anti-mage, of course, now. It would be like a suicide pick.
And DC doesn't have very good bear solutions either.
they
They
don't.
don't want to Chronosphere it. The Lone Druid himself
they're
is
gonna
very
go with the
tanky.
Wyvern.
Well, now they do.
Whatever.
The first spell of Winter is actually incredible against the bear.
Yeah.
And Tinker has to
Okay.
be careful. If he BOTs in and Winter ults the bear or anything, he would just start attacking the bear.
Can't
And
blink out, right?
yeah, and the AoE is massive. It's like 550.
Okay, we're going to head back to the commentators in just a minute. Charlie, very quickly, draft. Who wins?
I sound like a broken record or something, but I really like Navi's draft.
Yeah, we'll just keep replaying that segment back over and over again. Black.
I think Navi will win if the Tinker gets a good game. If they can shut down Tinker, Navi will lose.
Okay, that's sort of hedging his bets, but I'll let him off. Purge.
What a cop out.
I think I'm gonna commit to DC here. I feel like the Winter Wyvern's Cold Embrace really counters a lot of what Navi does, at least until like mid to late game when he gets Dagon on Tinker. So, but they need to get a lot of kills definitely in the mid game. If they don't, the game's gonna be real one-sided late.
Okay, all right. Thanks to all three of our panelists. We'll hear from them after game 2. Can Na'Vi make a clean sweep of it and take it 4-0? Let's find out with our commentary team of Wagger and Capitalist.
That's right, Valve is truly blessed me at TI5. I got the opportunity to cast with Blitz in Storm Spirit games. Now I have Waga with Carry Void games.
Yep.
Is this the game, Waga? Is
could
this
be.
the Carry Void game?
I mean, Ditya Ra has played the Vanguard
Na'Vi
Radiance before, but actually I talked to him
versus
at Dream League about a build where
Digital
you go Vanguard Echo
Chaos.
Saber, and he said, I like it, and I'm like, yeah, I like it too, but you cannot continue
Who will
Radiance.
be
And he
victorious?
played earlier in this tournament. And so did Ditya Ra and Resolution have both played this. It's very interesting. Strong builds where you go for just a fighting Vanguard Echo Saber. But we'll see what we have here in this game.
Let's see, what are our lanes going to be matching up into? General already showing himself at the top lane against Resolution. Will probably have some support, at least one support behind him. In the Winter Wyvern, we are going to have Digital Chaos moving around, obviously, with an Enchantress. You mentioned rather early on, it was like, look at the way the Digital Chaos are addressing art style. They pick the Enchantress for themselves, ban the Chen in the second phase.
Yeah, they're really trying to not give Na'Vi their comfort zone. And I think that's a very smart approach. Target Na'Vi supports. Do not give away Wisp. Do not give away easy Chen or Enchantress. And if you are going to give them, then at least pick to counter it.
Bouncer Rune matchup here. Digital Chaos
Oh,
gonna
the
try and
cast?
take the top one here, but the cast already bouncing around as DC get delayed up. They are going to be able to pick up this kill on Artstyle thanks in part to the arrow that landed. Now Saksa has to try and get out before he's a return kill, and it's actually going to be General 2-0 for Digital Chaos to start things off, and they already get some extra damage in as well. So yes, both Banner Runes being picked up by Na'Vi, but certainly not worth it, especially not without that experience buff.
Really nice arrow coming in. That was important for him. Setting up the entire fight, so Mu On point with that one. Gonna try for one more arrow mid, it looks like. Sending it off.
And it will slide right past Snako.
Optimistic. You gotta try for a lot of arrows, though. That's the way you play Mirana.
It is going to slow down his farm a bit, as that is one of the crucial things about offlane Mirana, is that you need to be able to take advantage of your your ability to take out neutrals.
On top lane, taking some aggression here as Art Style comes in. Actually a dual lane with the Beastmaster and Witch Doctor.
Forcing him to use the Arctic Burn to escape. Still a decent win, even if they don't pick up the kill.
It's a decent win because Void doesn't have that easy of a time farming against the Beastmaster. Beastmaster has tons of damage and pretty good armor as well. So.
And it's good sustained damage, right? Which means that the Time Walk is going to be very useful for restoring your HP. So
at least they nerf the early level Boars, but when he gets some levels going here for the Beastmaster, he gets back to the same point that you know him. Such a powerhouse hero.
They are going to be trying to pull out with that hard camp. Now, this is one of the big advantages of running a lone Druid. Na'Vi are able to leave him alone against Moo's Mirana. And this means extra help, obviously, at top, as well as at mid. But now the full wraparound Misery is going to be able to get into a position with a Centaur stun. Should be able to guarantee a kill on someone here. Artstyle turns around, forced to throw the cask at the Enchantress and his creeps, which means that DC are still able to easily pick up the kill. Now General has to juke his way through and try and get a TP out. Not able to make it as it looks like he's caught out. Sure enough, Misery managed to get the stun in time.
Too many creeps.
And General is going to end up going down here. 2 kills. Now 4-0.
Even his own board just attacking away at him there. Poor General. He was a general, no longer.
Not
usurped.
Anymore. Mutiny.
Yeah, bottom lane should be going very nicely for Na'Vi here. That's the good side of things here. But the rotations from Enchantress been in 4 kills already.
Yeah. And even if the bottom lane does go well for Dichira, Moose should be able to get a decent amount out of it, and that's more than most of the time you're going to see from offlane Miranas, right? So
that's true. Na'Vi themselves are no strangers to offlane Mirana as well, as General plays it quite a bit. And sooner or later, she always catches up in farm. Yeah. It's my experience with Mirana.
Yeah, you get that Axe. Or you fan of the Midas into Axe?
Oh, I don't like Midas into Axe. I like the Axe Rush because you don't really need Midas. Levels is not super important. You just need to get the Axe as soon as possible, and then your farm is going to come naturally.
A little bit of Sunray damage, nothing major. Just taking out that Forge Spirit. But I am completely with you on that one. I think most of the pro scene is as well. We've seen very early on when the Mirana was being picked up, it was like a lot of Midases into the Aghanims, but I think teams have realized, you know, Aghanims is a farming item. You don't need 2 of those. Just pick up the Aghs and you'll still get more than enough.
The biggest part about it is when you get the Blink Dagger afterwards. If you get the Aghanims into Blink, then you can just take fights so aggressively with Blink and always have the leap to get out. That's the power.
Potentially get 1,200 damage on one hero.
And we see Misery just running in here, putting pressure on the bottom lane.
See if they can get the Golem stun out. If not, they may have to just kill this Spirit Bear, the arrow.
They're trying for it. They're stunning it.
Yeah, they should be able to pick it up. Oh, gets a resummon. Oh my god.
The damage block. Oh, the Sunstrike. The Mercy. Wow. They really wanted to kill that boar.
Yeah,
Weehaw, gotta say thank you for that 300 gold. Mid laner is happy.
Dichira does have a fresh bear, though. So that is not going to be able to put him too far out.
And here he comes again with the double
shard golems. Let's see what happens. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Artstyle is going to be slowed down here by the Arctic Burn. Hoping to be able to catch the Splinter Blast. Does actually get so successfully. Back over to bottom lane, where now you see the Spirit Bear trying to get himself or block out. Oh, the Sunstrike! No!
The tower's going to get him!
What a dodge!
Misery's dead, so Dichira actually picks up the kill.
Misery able to get out. No, Moo, he's going to be caught as well. It looks like the Sunray's going to slowly burn him down. The bear unable to get that entangle and unable to keep going for the dive as Dichira can't quite catch up. But man, Dichira, nice sidestep there, realizing the Sunstrike was going to be coming in, because if that was just if he ends up going down there, DC are happy. Trade off a support for a carry.
Very good awareness for sure. And I think DC are probably the happier ones in this game, though, with the way things are going. They're just getting a lot of momentum with the Enchantress. However, there's the downside that Dendi is farming a lot on mid. He's actually doing really well against Weeha in CS. He's out-CSing him by quite a bit. 27, 28 now for 11 against 15 and 3.
And that was one of the things that Black obviously hedged his bets on, and I think pretty much every analyst is willing to hedge their bets on. If Tinker does well in the first 20 minutes of the game, then you're going to side with that one. So this is obviously something that Digital Chaos know that they have to address eventually. And what do you think their game plan is going to be? Is it going to be rotating the Faceless Void once you get that level 7 area? Or
maybe some smoke rotations, just 2-man rotations with a Wind Wyvern +1. Because if you have the Sunstrike always available, and if you just use the Winter's Curse when they TP in, Black brought up a really good point there. You can do this out of a smoke and just surprise the Tinker. Yep. Look at these stacks for Dendy. Just tons of gold to farm up here.
That is another thing Digital Chaos haven't really addressed at all.
And he has the Soul Ring now as well, so he can easily farm this. He always does this, by the way. Some Tinkers, they skip the Soul Ring to go early travels. Every single game that I've seen Dendy play Tinker, which is a lot of games after watching Dream League, he does this.
Artstyle is going to be caught with the Cold Snap. Arctic Burn guaranteeing a near perma-stun onto him. Sunray is not going to be enough to be able to stop that kill, but Soxa now has to try and go for the TP. Unfortunately, General is not level 6. Just 200 experience shy of being able to claim that counter kill.
It's the downside to running a dual off lane. Sometimes, yes, you can have more impact on the lane, but you're also sharing experience, so he hasn't really gone to that point where he's level 6 yet. So Jungle Beastmaster could easily have hit it by now, or just using the jungle a little bit in laning.
Dichira not too far away from the hand of Midas.
And Resolution is completing his Vanguard on Void here. It's 1,200 gold whenever he wants it. He could go Treads first, though. Kill potential is more welcome.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Treads.
There it is. Especially since
there's just not much burst damage on the side of Navi really to come up here. Sure, maybe when the travels are up on Tinker, he comes in, but Treads can give you HP as well if you just keep them a friend.
Yeah. And for me, it's about like what is the Void going to be able to do? Because I do feel like he needs to be able to rotate out. Because I'm not sure if just
this the That's a hard kill though.
Yeah, it really is. With the right Savage Roar, Dichira might be able to get out of this one. They land the point blank arrow, but now he's going to run into the Sunstrike. Not quite yet dead as the Sunray helps keep him alive. A Splinter Blast from Soxa, though, will be able to get that kill.
So much that he has to sidestep. It's the Sunstrike coming in, so he has to share that tank with his bear, but then when the bear is close to him, he dies because of the Ice Shard or the Splinter Blast. There's just so much. That is painful.
Well done. Digital Chaos. Using their, and they really have to, if they're going to keep that Void up at the top lane, they need to be able to utilize these two supports in the off laner combined together to start shutting down some of these Navi cores as they do get the kill on the lone Druid. The Tinker is still free farming.
They want to go with an arrow and Chronosphere on top, TPing up the Mirana even though she's really low. See if she can sneak around without getting seen by the Hawk.
It doesn't even have enough for a Starstorm.
Yeah, all he needs is the arrow after. But General sneaking into jungle right at this moment.
Good opportunity for him to farm away that offlane camp. Not sure if that's just good awareness or just a little bit of luck.
Could have been a bit of both, I think, because he realized the lane is pushing anyway, so he doesn't have to keep contesting.
Yeah, I would just be really impressed if he knew that kind of rotation was coming out, right? Just after the bottom lane was smoked and everything, to have a rapid rotation up to the top lane would usually be unexpected.
Sometimes things just work out for your favor, and sometimes you get a gut feeling that you have to back out as well. You're not really sure why. Could be either.
Did he have a Haka?
He did, but not that saw the Mirana rotation. So right now, Mirana is obviously off the map, and now for a long time, you know something is up.
So General pulling the wave off the tower and farming it up with his boars.
He's a tanky hero though. They would definitely need the arrow and the Sunstrike to land, else he's not gonna die. That Beastmaster is not an easy pick. Mirana actually gonna TP down bottom again. So TP top doesn't get anything sadly, but then a lot of farm coming in bottom.
Our two supports from Digital Chaos were spending some time together in the jungle, but they will now show themselves at top lane. I think they're determined to be able to take away that off-lane tower and get a kill on General in the process, and sure enough, the Chrono leading into the Splinter Blast, and of course, the Sunstrike should be a rather easy kill for Digital Chaos.
I'm trying to counter TP with anyone there, just focusing on their own game, getting Dendy farmed. He has his travels in base now though. So he's going to be ready soon to start taking part of the fights. This tower, though, probably going to fall without contest.
And then it's going to be pretty
They are
annoying.
teaming, though.
Oh, they get the stun on Dendi. He's pretty low. They are going to be able to get the... No, not quite. Enchantress managed to get the kill there on the Tier 1 tower. Resolution undoes all the damage done. The Sunray still keeping up and giving DC a bit of a tan, but still 7-1 Digital Chaos as they now take the first tower of the game. Still, though, Dendi with his...
Then they should use the courier and send out his metals right now. Courier is not being used. Could have had it. But he is using that Soul Ring to keep farming for quite a bit, actually.
Na'Vi, just because they have Tinker and Lone Druid farming away doesn't mean that they can play all defensive. They do need to see some moments of aggression. We're going to see right here as they catch out Wii. Moonlight Shadow goes down, so they actually have the counter vision. They do not. Wii.
And no point in Maledict either, so there's no way he's going to be going down. Tries for a Sunstrike, actually. Whew. He gets on Echo, but Artstyle was there sharing the tank. But the support of Na'Vi, you mentioned earlier a little bit about the support. So if we look at the network right now, they are struggling. Na'Vi are falling behind a little bit in comparison to the Enchantress, who's been getting a lot, running a Midas. And Winterwyvern is also pulling ahead in farm. He has the Soul Ring, so he can start farming even more so and push out waves. I think DC are setting themselves up nicely.
Yeah, they've got this kind of like fourth core, essentially, in the Enchantress, while Na'Vi are going to be more dependent on the Tinker and Lone Druid as this game goes later, while their supports are going to be less impactful.
Definitely so.
At least we'll say one thing. Phoenix is one of those heroes. He can have like 10 net worth. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, at the late game stage, he's always going to have a massive impact just by dropping that Sunray.
Is this, do you think this is an Etherlens Aghanims game for the Tinker, by the way? You do have a decent number of right-clickers on DC.
Almost every game is.
Yeah.
I really like this build. I think it's so strong and should be used quite a lot. I think he should start with Blink Dagger, though, so he doesn't get caught out so much when he TPs out. But going back for Etherlens and then the Aghanims could be a really good build.
Chronosphere, Sunstrike, and Arrow. Yeah, they've got everything. They've got a little bit of everything. DC.
Some kitchen sinks, and yeah, they wanted that guy dead.
Essentially, every bit of hardware that you find at Lowe's, Digital Chaos are throwing at that Lone Druid to make sure they can get that kill. The offset, though, is that Na'Vi are surrounding this Tier 1 tower mid. They're trying to find the opening onto Weehaw, but he does seem to know about this. I mean, this is pretty natural. If you're going to go for a 4-man smoke gank like that, your solo hero does need to naturally play defensive, so whether or not he knew exactly what Na'Vi was up to, or he was just generally playing a little bit farther back, either way, the outcome is the same. He dodges the gank.
Na'Vi mostly just spending his time trying to get that Necro Book for General, just farming away and recovering a little bit levels. Of course, Tinker also closing up on that blink is going to be a big thing. But I think it's the correct decision by Na'Vi, not fighting right now. Wait for the key moment.
When they do have those Necronomicons coming up, they do have a lot of split push pressure there between Lone Druid on one side of the map, Beastmaster on the other, both of them able to push down and threaten towers really easily, and then Tinker with this obviously global presence. It does set up opportunities where they may be able to force Digital Chaos to split apart, and that's where you can find openings for kills.
That's when Beastmaster can really punish, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a nice draft in that sense. However, DC are having a very good laning stage here against them as well. So
let's not forget about the opportunities of Tinker being able to jump onto the Beastmaster's boars or hawks, and Saksa.
Well, he's farming from so far away. It's hard to catch a Winterwyvern farming a lane. Not the easiest thing to do.
He's going to try and eat his way through or something. Jamego's trying to get some damage, but
one more
Tier
free
1
tower.
is taken.
That's 2 towers in a row dropping for free. Nothing really being given in return.
It's pretty rough. I mean, the off-lane tower, okay. Safe lane tower, you don't want to give that up, but it was a 4-man smoke gank that turned into a tower. Understandable. But the mid tower, I mean, that is so essential, especially for a hero like Tinker, who's so reliant on being able to have those TPing positions.
They're just going to go in for this. Winterwyvern is being doled right now. He's going to run for
he actually manages to get away with the Arctic Burn. Now the Moonlight Shadow also going down.
No counter TP needed. He just casually walks away. flies away.
So many resources blown there from Na'Vi. I mean, just time itself, where Na'Vi was trying to set up that gank, then they just go all in for it, and they still miss out. They're still not going to be able to get that tier 1 tower very easily, as Winter Wyvern didn't have to TP away, so he's, again, splinter blasting his way through and keeping the creeps off the tower while the rest of Digital Chaos go for this tier 2.
Yeah, DC growing more confidence. They've been getting these towers for free, and that failed gank on top as well. They're just going to go in, getting greedier and taking a tier 2 tower as their goal.
Looks like it might be time for Resolution to go straight up for the Radiance. He's got a decent amount of gold built up.
We'll see what he wants to go for. Oh, going in for the kill on Archstyle first, though. And he's going to
actually, oh, somebody finish him off. Okay, there's the infinite shot.
It was a nice trying to get the Beastmaster as well. Not let anyone get away, but sadly. I don't think it's going to hurt him too much that Chrono is on cooldown, though, because Na'Vi, they don't really have a lineup that can force so much to happen right now. They're waiting to become monsters, yes.
Yeah.
When they max out their aura on Beastmaster, when the Necrobook is high level, and then, of course, adding the Lone Druid to the push, that becomes a monstrous combo. But right now, it's fine to have cooldown on Chrono and try for that kill. And I think he might as well go Radiance here.
Yeah, and it was pretty essential, right, for them to be able to get more than just a support after they rotated so many heroes top, and there was, managed to get himself a leap away. Geno's got to be careful. He's diving into a tier 1 tower here. He's got the backup of Den, who's going to start throwing down those heat-seeking missiles. Will be able to get more damage on Moo, enough to be able to finish him off, and that ultimate from the Winter Wyvern just does absolutely nothing. Now they're going to be able to catch Soxa as well, an early Supernova, just to make sure that Digital Chaos are not there in force behind and won't be able to do anything. Na'Vi take the tier 1, and things turn around pretty heavily.
They do manage to capitalize. They know the Chrono is down, and they play ultra aggressively. There shouldn't be too much to punish it. I didn't expect Na'Vi to actually find something during this time, but they made a nice rotation.
Yeah.
And made good use of Soneko's Phoenix as well.
Yeah, you can see Denny's positioning there on the right-hand side just allows him to be able to get so much free damage. And as soon as that Splinter Blast is, or rather the Winter's Curse used by the Winter Wyvern, there's just no recourse. Na'Vi at that point in time can just play ultra aggressive. They obviously pick up the extra support kill, but I think even a bigger thing is being able to take some map control away from Digital Chaos, claim that tier 1 tower mid.
Oh yeah. So now the tier 1 tower mid and top are gone. They're starting to equalize this a little bit. And Soneko, he's a really, really good player on a ton of different support heroes.
Uh-oh.
Gonna dodge that one. Not really a dodge, though. Just running 15.
Okay.
Okay. Still a little bit jumpy on the ulti.
Yeah.
Not really needed.
Maybe not expecting that early force staff from the Enchantress.
Relic is up, and there's 1,000 gold on the Lone Druid right now, so he's very close to this Radiance. Once he gets it, that allows Na'Vi to start putting more fights, really. Just TPing in with a Tinker, running in with Lone Druid Radiance. It's going to be hard for DC supports. The Mirana and the Void, though, can both jump away, and it's always hard to lock down Invoker.
It does seem like DC are playing a lot more heavily for the late game than I kind of expected them to. From about a month ago, it seemed like their playstyle was really early aggressive, but in this series and this game especially, they seem to be playing a lot more for the late game with the Enchantress, spending a lot of time being able to farm away, picking up the Hand of Midas. They don't seem to feel overly pressured about trying to stop the Tinker. Do you agree with this approach of the game? Because Tinker is one of the scariest heroes to go up against late game.
Tinker can always become a real monster when he chain disables, especially against a Void who relies on getting time walk off, stuff like that. But I think they're just playing to their own power peak. They realize that when they get the Radiance on Void here, he's going to be really, really strong. A lot stronger than a Radiance Lone Druid. And it's an okay choice to just farm up. You have an X-Word Invoker. And Mirana, of course, once you have Aghanims on her, that's when she starts becoming useful. So they're very close to hitting that sweet spot when they can start taking fights of their own.
It seems like just before the Aghanims comes in for the Tinker is where DC are going to strike the hardest. Because I'm a bit scared of the Aghs Tinker with so many right-clickers, right? You've got the Faceless Void, who at that point is just Radiance damage. Enchantress, a big one. X-Sword Invoker outputs a decent amount of right-click damage as well. So
it's not just that. There's also some targets that you can use to bounce the laser off. Like you can nuke on the Enchantress Creep or on the Forge Spirits, and that's going to bounce onto the heroes. So that's also useful. But I wonder, it's not that easy to play Tinker against stuff like a Mirana once she gets the Blink Dagger, or Invoker even with the Aghanims. This is a very farmed Invoker.
Yeah.
Pre-20 minutes, he has Midas, Aghanims, Drums, and some gold, just 300 gold. He's the #1 farm.
Smoke up from Na'Vi. Again, I think the timing that you're talking about, Na'Vi are very aware of that and are going to exploit that as much as possible. Digital Chaos trying to hit them before they manage to get that Radiance. We saw them do it in the mid lane. They're going to try and do it again. Unfortunately, they don't see an opening to get a hero pick, so this Roshan kill is instead just going to be kind of a bum rush, where they just go for it, hope Digital Chaos are not going to be there in time. Doesn't look like they will be anyway, especially with Dendy beginning to set up the March of the Machines. It's not even like that jump would look very profitable.
Have to run all the way with Void. She didn't have a TP, so they're getting there a little bit late, but still in time.
Rockets start going out. There goes the Moonlight Shadow. They clean up the Necronomicons, and with the Necronomicons gone, I think Na'Vi don't want to fight this. Unless they see some sort of amazing opening, but DC not trying to be overly aggressive again.
But now you have a low HP Roshan, so both teams really want to play around this area. You want to keep your attention to this part of the map. Good D-ward coming in here. Mirana has her Aghanims and looks to push out bottom. Question is if Na'Vi can fight without the Necrobook. I think they have to wait for Necrobook to be up before they do anything.
Yeah, I agree on that one. I think DC at that point in time, they just need to try and push out that bottom lane. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be possible with the Spirit Bear obviously there, but try and push out that bottom lane, try and push out mid as much as possible. So if you are forced into a scenario where you have to give up that Roshan or the fight goes bad, at least Na'Vi can't immediately transition from taking Rosh into faster towers.
Exactly.
Off-lane tower is something you probably have to give up, but you want to protect your tier 2s.
Yeah, you might lose that eventually. That's fine. Blink Dagger complete on Beastmaster now, and Void taking this little time here, this little pause after Roshan was attempted to finish up his Radiance on top lane.
Oh no, Moo! Good for Staff is going to be able to buy him a little bit distance. Unfortunately, Sunray's still there. They have the Rockets coming in. Nice! Squinter's Curse. Now the follow-up. Beautiful Chronosphere. Setting all of this up. They're going to be able to pop Art Style inside of the Chronosphere. General, who's already blown everything he has, doesn't really matter if he goes down, but it looks like he will end up going down either way against Wee. Now the lone Druid Bear actually burning a lot of these heroes from DC quite low. Unfortunately, there's just enough sustain to be able to keep DC alive, and they're even going to be able to pick up that Spirit Bear, an extra 300 gold on top of the 3 hero kills that they got. And can they do Roshan for themselves? They should be able to.
They definitely could. They have so many heals. They're going to back up and heal up in the fountain with some of them, but just controlling the area for now. Probably going to push out mid with the Void and then going for it. Beautiful Chronosphere, just catching 3 heroes. And also the counter initiation. Force Staff just saving your teammate, making sure Mirana doesn't get bursted, and then Winter Wyvern turning the heat on. Oh, it's beautiful.
I think DC reacted really well, but you could also say that was a pretty bad mistake from Na'Vi. Looking for that opening on Moo, that was good, but at the same time when they got drawn in, the Force Staff went out, and then they were like, let's keep going into that point. You're going into a tier 1 tower. You know the Faceless Void. He still had that TP ready to go, so he was able to get, just a beautiful Chronosphere follow-up after the Winter's Curse. There were so many things about that fight that were just inherently bad for Na'Vi as soon as that Force Staff save came into play.
Yeah, I was not a massive fan of that dive, but they did seem very stressed to do something. They have to play around the bottom area, as we mentioned earlier, because of Roshan being low. And if you see a chance to go for a pick with Beastmaster, you might just go for it.
Well, they're still going to try and take this tier 1 away. It is one of the more problematic towers when looking towards that Roshan objective. So they finally take it away from Digital Chaos. And 4-12 now, as Na'Vi starts circling around the Roshan pit, hoping to be able to recover some of those losses earlier by grabbing themselves a second life.
DC should definitely not shy away from fighting right now. They want to take these fights. They're in their power peak. They have every item they want right now. And Na'Vi, of course, they have to make this work, because they will fall behind if they just start farming. Even if Tinker can become really strong later on, you don't want to rely on him.
Trying to catch the Spirit Bear, but the Sunray will keep it alive. Moonlight Shadow was blown by Digital Chaos there, spotted out as well.
These Rainbow Impetus, so much damage. So beautiful.
Misery is going to be outputting a lot of damage very soon. He's got -4 staff and halfway through, or 2/3 of the way actually, through his Aghanim Septum.
Many players on Enchantress will not go for this 4-staff, but I think just against Beastmaster, it's a great reaction item pickup. Because a lot of players, even on the opposite team here, seeing art style, will normally go for the Dragonlance, Aghanims, Moonshard build-up, but this is just so good against Navi's draft. The 4-staff really makes this build.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that. Helps against Lone Druid and Tangle a little bit.
They also have
as
the Glimmer capable, so while the Necrobook is being completed level 3 by Beastmaster now, quite late in fact, he opted to go back for the Blink Dagger before he had the full Necrobook. I'm not sure about that decision.
Well, it certainly didn't work out because that Blink Dagger was part of the reason that they went for that fight at the bottom lane, right? He blinked in to try and catch Moo, and obviously that fight did not look real good.
It was a gamble. Sometimes you have to hope that you will get a chance to catch the Void or Invoker and just burst.
And maybe he feels like, obviously...
Oh, they're scanned. They're getting scanned right now.
Right outside of Roshan Pit, so Na'Vi probably going to start grouping up and heading towards that Roshan Pit soon. They've got to wait out the smoke first.
Yeah, Na'Vi should be expecting them to almost go for Roshan even here, but they have the Hawk, of course.
So they know DC, while they were right outside the Roshan Pit, obviously they're still looking for that kill, not going to find it. And as a result, Na'Vi are actually going to be able to get a bit of map control because of this. They've got the mid lane pushing out.
They are
top
farming
lane's
away.
pushing out pretty hard too.
Yeah, it's the Tinker effect. You just cannot leave your lanes unattended for long enough. It's very irritating to play against Tinker in some regards. And having that Aghanims and Ether Lens on Tinker, the next team fight, Na'Vi could surprise with the amount of damage they can output. And what's the
damage?
The HP on Enchantress looking quite good now as it completes the Dragonlance. 1300. Just gotta be wary about your HP pool against the Tinker with Aghanims and Ether Lens, because it's gonna hurt.
General. Oh, okay!
Alright.
About to throw a word of criticism to General, and he shuts me up real quick. Just about to say, come on, dude, get that Necronomicon. And he just, like, styles with a quick blink against Resolution.
Some jumpy ultis this game. Good try, but again, that's the second time he tries to ulti the Beastmaster, but does not get him. Last time was a TP away, this time a blink away.
And now, with the Chronosphere down, seems to be a free Roshan for
Yeah,
Na'Vi.
yeah, I think you have to give this Roshan up. Na'Vi are not weak. If you don't have Chronosphere, you don't take that fight.
Not against the Marching Machine spam. The Phoenix, great Roshan fighting hero.
Even the rockets. Look at Saksa. He has to heal himself up just because he got rocketed twice.
Oh, they jump in from Moon. Gets a little damage from the Starstorm. Just poking at Na'Vi, but obviously they have that pipe, so it's not that big of a deal. Looks like Winter's Curse is going to be able to come in, catches Art Style unawares, and he'll be ripped apart by Dinjira and General. The Supernova now goes down just as a little bit of zoning. Weehawk may actually be the target. Good for Staff buys a little bit of time. The Glimmer Cape still not enough, as now the Sunray burning through. Digital Chaos Misery is going to be going down. Resolution will be able to get that time walk away, no problem. And Na'Vi turn their attention right back to Roshan. Saksa, he's going to be caught. Glimmer Cape, TP out. Moo actually goes for it, but not able to get the Aegis. Managed to get the leap out. Turns around, throws out the arrow, catches General, making sure that he can't pursue. Good attempt at a big play there from Moo.
I like how he blinks in
enough.
and wants to get it. Normally Moo plays something like Slaughter, and then yes, you can very easily kill off Roche, but as a Mirana with brown boots, your Roshan killing is not that fast.
Yeah, he was probably looking at that fight and just being a bit desperate is how bad it went for Digital Chaos.
It went really bad, but they're fighting without their biggest teamfight control. They have no teamfight hero apart from the Invoker, but Invoker is very often a reactive hero. You need to set up with a stun or something to lead, and Invoker can work based off that. So, and looking at the rest of the heroes, they really don't have much setup. And that was interesting that they chose to take that fight still. I think you have to just accept and give away the Aegis, farm out the other lanes.
That's going to be what Digital Chaos are going to be focusing on for now with that Aegis up on Na'Vi. They're pushing out the top lane and a little bit of mid, trying to deal with the Tinker at bottom lane. Na'Vi, in the meanwhile, we've got the Aegis in hand. What other items do we really need for Na'Vi for them to start being aggressive and looking to take tier 2s? Or do they at all? Do you like to play more of just a passive style farming game for Na'Vi at this point?
You want to get to tier 2 towers for sure. Right now, I don't think they need more items, in fact. They have the pipe on the Lone Droid. That's going to be really good for them. And at just mitigating all the radiance damage, just controlling the DC team. And they're pulling pretty far ahead right now in farm. So I think just keep pushing, make sure Tinker pushes out the side lane and go down mid.
Lots of vision for the Tinker to be able to freely bounce around in this bottom lane, knowing that he's never going to be caught by Digital Chaos. That's a big part thanks to the Beastmaster Hawks.
Yeah, very good micro on the Hawks. Always scouting, always on top of it. Gonna send one into Radiance right as I say that. Good old Castus Curse. It's fine. But Manta Style being completed on Resolution is pretty big item pickup normally. I just think that the Axe on Tinker could completely shut this item down.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy to keep your illusions up and running when the laser bounces off them.
And he can try and get rid of the miss effect from the laser by popping Manta, but then the other one's just going to come right 2 seconds later. So that really does make Tinker enemy #1 as far as Digital Chaos is concerned.
Yeah, truly. I don't know. DC, they're still trying to play the farming game, just get control around the map, and seems they're going for a Hex on Joker. I think he is. It could have been Lincoln Sphere as well, I suppose. Oh, actually he's going back for Yules? What? 31-minute Yules after an Invoker coming in?
Is it some sort of idea of being able to get combo on the Tinker? Like
yeah,
forward, Yules?
I guess so. It's just, that's why I thought the Hex is coming, because that would make more sense. But the late game Yules pickup.
Maybe he feels a bit of pressure to be able to get that disable item now in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
That's Spirit Bear.
There it is, jump forward, gonna be able to catch Soxa, but oh, the arrow actually gets General, and now the tornado actually comes through. Sineko throwing out some damage there. Does manage to hit a number of heroes with the Fire Spirits, but it still doesn't matter. Tier 2 is going to be going down here. Digital Chaos can't seem to stop it.
Yeah, this Spirit Bear is really, really farmed. The Moonstar attacking so fast.
Now with the Shivas, Dendy's going to have even easier time to push out these waves.
Yeah, Dendy is a very good Tinker player as well. He spammed that hero so many times. And he hasn't died a single time. He also has 10 CS per minute, quite precisely in this game. 325. He's doing quite well.
Top 2 net worth for Na'Vi. Their support's still a little bit low, but they're making an okay comeback. They're tied up there with Soxa. We've got an almost Ags for art style.
The thing is that this is still anyone's game. You have kind of this 3-core on DC versus the, I'm going to call it the 2-core of Na'Vi, because Beastmaster, while he's a strong hero, he doesn't turn into that much of a late game DPS or anything like that. Void, Invoker, Mirana can definitely scale well into the late game.
Right.
So Na'Vi, they need to keep using the strength that they have right now, taking these towers. And this Spirit Bear with the Beastmaster aura is so crazy right now.
Yeah, it does seem pretty clear that Digital Chaos wanted to be able to make a big, 3 or 4 damage core sort of setup with their lineup, and weren't trying to pressure Na'Vi too much, but they really didn't want to be behind at this point. And now they just have to keep on giving up. Uh-oh, there goes the Cyclone, going to be able to catch the Tinker into the ultimate there as Resolution quickly surrounds Dendy, but not getting enough damage out. The arrow actually doesn't land. Dendy going to be able to get some rearm and tries to chase down. No, actually jumps up, sees Misery as the opportunity. Gets a slight stun, slows him down with the Shivas, gets some more burst damage. Misery gets taken out just like that. Now the jump forward, Soxa is going to be going down as well, right outside of Digital Chaos' base, which means Na'Vi goes straight for the tier 3.
Yeah, he has to buy back here to defend. This push is way too strong.
Time for some spam. Splinter Blast still has Winter's Curse as well, but with the Necronomicons and Spirit Bears, if they don't jump soon, they're going to be losing their full lane of racks. Now the buyback here from Misery jumps forward, 4 staffs, trying to catch the Spirit Bear.
Double support buyback. That's pretty costly, and they're still looking to pressure here.
Na'Vi not backing away from the fight just yet.
They could easily back away and it would be fine for them. They don't have Roar anymore, but they do have Eggs, so maybe they want to make something happen with the Phoenix ulti.
Yeah, it does say a lot about Na'Vi that they were even considering to continue to go high ground there. They feel they're in a very good position in this game, that they were they didn't immediately run away when they saw buybacks, right?
think
That they
most-
thought, we might be able to take it.
Most of it comes down as well to this Tinker. The Aghanim's does so much for him right now. He's really shutting down the Void. He's making sure that anyone who stands against him just dies so quickly. We saw the Enchantress.
Oh, General is going to get this timing.
Both.
They had some idea that the Invoker was at bottom lane at one point in time and was backing away, but General didn't quite get it there.
Just barely missing. DC spraying out across the map and trying to farm all over. They haven't really tried to shut down Tinker in the way that Black mentioned on the panel, trying to set up with a Winter Wyvern ulti. Through a smoke or something like that, I think that could have been a massive hick. They have not killed Dendi once. Tinker is a hard hero to catch, but if you don't even make an effort to try and catch him, he's just going to have a field day.
Yeah, we see it at the top lane. They start approaching the lane, but Dendi, he only needs a few seconds to start spamming out March of the Machines and get himself out of there. With Bloodstone now complete, this could get even worse.
Yeah, that
for
means
Digital Chaos.
That means he has mana to sustain his level 3 rearm. Between the Shivas and the Bloodstone, he has the regen and the max mana to just go into a fight and do so many new combos.
Oh, Dendi. All right, that's one way to be able to catch him out. Just race car straight into him. Weehaw. Full out. Charges the Tinker, gets the Cyclone straight into the arrow.
That's what they need. They need to catch him somehow. So if the Yule Scepter is going to be the item to do it, I'm all for it. But any item they go for had to be to shut down the thing.
We really need to see the continued levels on this Invoker if you want to be able to continue to put pressure, because the rest of these heroes, like, not many of them are going to be able to really threaten the Tinker like the way that the maxed out Tornado is going to be able to, right?
Yeah.
A lot of vision, long range potential catch against him.
Once he gets level 6 on his Wex, that's going to be really good for him. And then obviously go back for a quas for the Around the World Deafening Blast. But as you say, he is the key to shutting them down. Double smoke going down here as DC here can smoke straight down as Na'Vi walk in front of their base.
In the night.
Definitely.
Digital Chaos going to be, I think, the ones a little bit worse for wear here. I think they were a bit more dependent on being able to find some sort of smoke initiation.
They're pinging it out, though. They could maybe get a wraparound here, but it's going to be pretty delayed. I wonder if Na'Vi are going to sense this one coming. They could get a great...
Faster. He's really far forward, so he's not going to see this initiation. He managed to catch the two supports in the back, but doesn't get Digi Raw. And now the Primal Roar goes forward, stopping this damage. Artstyle is going to be taken apart eventually, but DC have already thrown so much. Is it actually going to be worth it? They need to be able to take out the Supernova. They're addressing it now. The laser comes through, but it's not quite enough. The BKB goes through. Resolution and Misery both go down from a combo laser from Dendi. Soxa has to save himself, but it's not good enough. Dendi pounces once again. The Rocket's able to take him out. Triple kill for him. And DC, they thought they had it. They thought they found the initiation, and maybe if it was a 3-man Chronosphere, that could have been good, but unfortunately, Dendi, man.
They just have solutions for everything. Of course, DC felt pretty confident that 2-man Chrono was good. Void had a BKB, so he's going in for the kills, but Roar comes in, stopping him entirely. And when the BKB on Void was down, then Dendi was around as well.
Yeah. It seems like the damage from this Faceless Void is a bit lacking as well.
He just... I think Aghanim's Tinker is super great against what he's doing. The Manta style is almost useless this game. And there's nothing to really Manta off. It seems like a struggle. Whoever invented this build is clearly an idiot.
Are you taking a lot of Roshan time? All right, scared me.
I'm just taking some of the heat from this. No, it's fine. I actually think it comes down mostly to them not being able to catch the Tinker in this game.
Yeah.
What makes them really struggle. But the itemization on Tinker really counters them. It feels very similar of a game where I played Chaos Knight and played against an Aghanim Tinker. This was Excalibur Tinker. Yeah. He's a monster, and your illusions cannot do anything. That's the same thing as Void in this game. You just do not hit anyone.
Not gonna lie, Waga. I was not a fan of the Radiance Void. It ruined way too many of my games, but I gotta give you props, man. It's definitely worked out quite well in the pro scene. Maybe not in this game. We'll see. It's definitely not the fault of the build, though. You're right. Resolution needed to be able to catch this Tinker, and unfortunately, Dendy's just balling out of control here.
Yeah, this bear is just a monster as well, so you have to deal with either a Tinker or the Spirit Bear.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of dealing with the Spirit Bear, it seems, as they almost finish it off. The laser is going to be able to put a stop to things. They actually get a Chronosphere in.
Tinker.
They're trying to go for General, trying to take him out before he gets out the Primal Roar, and they can still get the Spirit Bear as well. They actually get a Winter's Curse on top of a Deafening Blast. They're putting out damage, but it's not doing anything just yet. Now the Supernova goes down. Looks like Digital Chaos should be able to address it with their 2 supports in the back, dealing the damage. Artstyle's going to go down, and Dendy has abandoned ship, or maybe not. He's actually coming back in. He's going to go for the Shivas, try and see if he can find somebody to pop. Moo's going to be the target. He doesn't have the pounce away just yet. Catches him ever so barely with the Shivas, and the laser to follow him up is able to take that kill. No supporting crew whatsoever from Na'Vi here. It's just Ichira and Dendy by themselves, and as DC start healing themselves up and coming back into the fold, Na'Vi have to stop their aggression. In fact, they're going to lose their Spirit Bear, and if they're not careful, they may just lose Ichira as well.
Yeah, they could definitely catch him here.
He has to juke his way through this one. Shivas starts coming in. Dendy puts himself right in the middle of everything. Goes for Weehaw, takes him out. Now Misery's going to be open as Dendy jumps forward once again. You're not going anywhere, Misery. You're slowed down. You're going to be nuked to death here. Doesn't give a damn about those healing whiffs. A little bit more as the Bloodstone kicks in. Enough for Dendy to finish off the kill and stops DC's movement forward.
And he's filling that stone with DC blood right now. 15 charges, and that's after he died almost immediately when he picked it up. So he's been working his way up from 9 to 15.
Look at that. 7 rockets, 5 lasers, 10 rearms.
7,800 damage.
Yeah. That was, I mean, we've kind of set this whole entire game up that the way that Na'Vi were playing this, and just naturally with their draft, this was all going to be based around the Tinker and the Lone Druid, and that fight describes it perfectly for us. It puts it on a showcase. 3 heroes instantly dead from Na'Vi. Had no impact whatsoever from the supports or the offlaner. Didn't matter.
Yeah, and he's going to have Hex now as well. He can swap out his Ether Lens for the Hex. But there are 3 BKBs on DC. They can still take a good team fight if they get the proper initiation.
Yep.
They've been struggling to get it a lot because of General and his micro on the Hawk. It's so hard for the Void to get in. And the times they did smoke, ships in the night. As you said, they could not really find the great pickoff. So I feel DC, they have the possibility to take a massive fight. It's just a matter of how do you engage it.
It's getting harder and harder, too, as those BKB charges start wearing down.
And the Hex now, the threat of just being chain hexed.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be a real thing.
Moonlight Shadow Initiation, art style, that's a freebie, but it's also, again, a freebie. Not really worth that much. Whoa, what was that? Oh, he actually caught Dandy. Didn't realize he completed that TP. Now they actually get the Winter's Curse onto the bear, slowing down the Lone Druid to make sure they can finish off Dendy with 3 versus 1. He commits the Bloodstone Suicide, but DC found the kill they really wanted. Dichiraz still able to get the TP out, though. And I think he's hunting for more. The Tornado goes out, not going to catch anything.
Yeah, he sees red right now. He has his Blink Dagger up soon. He's going to back off and kill off the summons, though. They want to go for a push on mid. Tinker, of course, respawning quite soon with that Bloodstone, but so have a moment here.
He'll be up to be able to defend their Tier 3 as long as nobody else from Na'Vi gets picked off, and that's why Digital Chaos were playing so aggressively.
Just a Tier 2 tower, though, is still a very good payoff after getting 2 kills. And they're actually going to back out early here. They realize the threat. They don't have Chronosphere. They're not going to make the same mistake again. Yep. We've seen them take fights where they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still chasing? I don't know. I don't think so. His team is too far back. The Hawk TPN, though, with the Hex on Tinker is always a scary thing.
Yeah, so like that Spirit Bear runs so fast. You have the Tinker able to TP in and slow people down with the Blink Shivas. You really do have to, get out of that Tier 2 tower area very early on.
Oh, he's going for the rearmed links for top lane. He wants to catch out the Invoker. No Lincolns on him.
Invoker, unless he...
Oh, good. 6th Dance on Weehaw.
Just barely in time. A second or 2 later, and maybe Dendy would have been able to catch him out.
Speaking of Dendy, I like how he's keeping his Ether Lens and Null Talisman as relics of his old past here. He's not selling them off. I'm not sure.
Do you think there's any possibility that
He probably won't be going back for an old
Yeah.
talisman. And, I mean, maybe Dagon later on in the game for sure.
yeah,
But,
and is there
the Ether Lens probably is not going to be used again.
Oh,
they're going,
Resolution. General sees him. Chronosphere unfortunately doesn't manage to catch Dendy. Saw a split-second opportunity. Now has to deal with the Supernova, but can actually. So that's going to be DC out of their BKBs, and they've only got the
Mirana
Beastmaster
all
for
alone.
it. Move. Uh-oh. He's still got the pounds to be able to get himself out of there, get some distance. But again, you know that Blink Dagger's up on Dendy. He's going to be able to pursue. They've got the Sunray to be able to see some damage. Seneko dropping lower and lower is going to go down. Had no Supernova, obviously, used it earlier in the fight. Looks like the Spirit Bear going to be the next target. Should be able to get that extra 300 gold and put that bear on cooldown. So
And look at DC, the team fights. When they have BKBs up, it's really hard for a tank to go into that.
Yeah.
And there's not any big, apart from the Phoenix ulti, which of course, the egg is really annoying, but when the BKBs are up, they ignore this. They don't have any team fight control,
Yep.
apart from the egg. And I feel DC can definitely still win this. It's all about the initiation.
Yeah. I really like, I got to give props to Moo there for that. I mean, when we saw Moo surrounded by 4 heroes, like, what the hell is he doing? But it actually made a lot of sense, right? He made the read. Hey, we killed the Beastmaster. There's no Supernova. I've got BKB. Let me put myself in the middle of all these heroes, slow down their retreat, and we're going to be able to get some extra kills.
And once his BKB was starting to wear out, he ran out very quickly. So yeah, he made a very good play there. Nice little illusion rune find for the Void.
You never know if a play like that is what successfully gets maybe, you know, a Tinker kill or something like that if you stall the retreat of Na'Vi. Now, we just had a really interesting pickup, the Shadow Blade now. For the Beastmaster, initiation is everything for Na'Vi. So,
But the same thing happening on the opposite team, Blink Dagger now in Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
So that's also going to help him not get caught out and be there to save his teammates. But the Shadow Blade build on Beastmaster, it reminds me a lot of when watching Arise play Magnus, Blink, 4-staff, Shadow Blade, all these items. It's all just about positioning.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same scenario here for General and his Beastmaster.
looking for that pickoff. He's going to start running himself through the dire jungle, but DC playing very far back here, and we talked about it whole game long. They set themselves up to be able to have a really good shot of being able to contest Navi's late game. Despite individually these heroes maybe being stronger, as you know, Tinker, one of the best late game heroes out there, but they have multiple cores on the side of DC, all outputting a lot of damage, and they're not afraid to just stall.
If they get to a point where Enchantress gets Moonshard, I think DC are in a great position because they have the quad core going.
Yeah. Or MKBs as well, I think, are pretty important. Resolution looks like he's about
really
to finish
close. He's really close to it. He has 4,000 gold, so he could buy it with buyback in 400 more gold.
Okay. So there's another reason for DC to play very conservatively at this point, because that's definitely going to be a game changer. As Resolution has, in the past, had to blow his BKB just out of fear of what the laser does to stop his damage.
Of course.
Not going to be a big
This could be a
problem.
great refresher game as well for the Void, by the way. If he sells the Vanguard later on to have 2 BKBs and double ulti, that could be really, really amazing. And Na'Vi, they know they want to go high ground. That's why they're playing so aggressive in the enemy woods here, but it's just hard to do against an Invoker and Voids and the spam from a Starfall Mirana with the Aghanim's, of course.
Yeah.
How do you just go high ground? It's not that simple. And we're also at that point where the Spirit Bear can actually be dealt with. Enchantress can definitely bring that down. The Ice Wall is always a good solution. They're going to go and check Roche as we hear the Mirana Invis.
Unfortunately, Roshan is not up, or maybe it's fortunate for
Mihai
Na'Vi,
is behind
because
them.
they might actually get caught here. A pincer move. They do see, they have the scan. They spot this one out, but the arrow just landed on the lone druid. That's a bad start to this fight already for Na'Vi. Move right in the middle of things, starts getting some damage out. Supernova is going to get popped there, and the tornado actually slowing down the damage. They now try to address this. Oh no, it's just a split damage. The Supernova successfully goes down, and just things falling apart now for Digital Chaos as Dendy takes advantage of the chaos. He's able to blink, catch the Weehawk, going to be able to get the side defies, and chain him down as we unable to be able to get away from this one. Another scythe, make it 3 with the laser to finish him off. Digital Chaos lose 4. An arrow to start things off on a lone druid. You thought it was going to be good, but it turns out so bad And that was just
They
a
blew-
dysfunctional team fight.
I think they have to save their Invoker to catch the Tinker.
Yeah.
They almost have to do this because, as you said, the Tornado wasn't really helping them over there anyway. Yes, he was controlling the backlines, killing off the Beastmaster as well as the Witch Doctor, but he has to go for a Tinker.
Yeah.
No one else can really catch him that easily, so it's just his duty. Oh, Dandy going in.
And Dendy jumps forward. We see a little bit of replay of that last fight, the way that that Tornado interrupted the damage, and then they went back for the Supernova. It didn't really work out whatsoever. And from there, the fight was obviously lost the moment the Supernova did successfully explode.
Yeah, that fight was over, but they're actually forcing a high ground push here as Navi going for that Melorax.
Snako, careful, friend. Oh!
Very close to going down.
15 HP, long-range Tornado.
Killed him
Not gonna
thanks
catch.
to his HP regen.
Yeah. So he skedaddles out of there. Back to base he goes. Na'Vi know that Roshan should be up, and they're going to check it with the Hawk now.
They have 5.6k gold on their Lone Druid as well. We hyped the Dandy Tinker a lot, who also is sitting at, you know, comfortable 6,000 gold. But this Lone Druid, I wonder what item he's going to add up next. Not really sure. Oh, he goes for a Abyssal on his main hero, I guess. Or even eating the Moonshot.
It's fair enough. Could use some extra disables.
Oh, for
against
sure.
a slipper hero like
It's the way to counter
Like the Void.
Void and Invoker. If you ever get close to Invoker and you chain stun him,
Yeah.
Abyssal first and then afterwards Saboteur. It's a very great way to bring him down. General in the Roche Pit here, getting hit by an arrow, but DC gonna back off.
DC. I believe they've already used. Is that another smoke that they just popped?
They did, indeed.
Okay.
They're smoked right now.
So this has got to be like their last smoke, right? They used one for the last fight. They're gonna blow another one here. They're gonna make their way through the Radiant jungle, try and catch something.
They have one more smoke in 2 minutes, in fact, so this one
okay.
doesn't have to work, but it would
Okay.
be nice for him if it did.
I'm surprised they have so many smokes.
Now we know exactly where they are. Yeah, it's quite long of a game, actually. 52 minutes in right now. Doesn't feel like it because they've been fighting non-stop. And Soneko.
10 more seconds. Na'Vi can still take this fight. Just want to stall a few more seconds and they can have that Spirit Bear and essentially be at no disadvantage. Jump in on Misery. Socks up, links himself forward, thinking to be able to counter-initiate. Doesn't find the opening. Meanwhile, Moo's going to be the target. Cold Embrace is going to buy him a little bit of time, but Dendy, he's actually just a sitting duck until now the Chronosphere comes in. They're trying to jest Dendy. They do get the Supernova, but
tanky,
Dendy, he's a tanky motherfucker, and he's going to be able to survive through all of that. Dendy, and now has to reharm, turns, gets aside the fight. He's going to be able to take out Resolution. 2 buybacks from DC, and 2 heroes down. 2 more they're going to have to buy back, especially if they lose Weehaw. Dendy going to be able to slow him down with the Shivas. Unable to get the vision, though, to be able to see him out. And don't tell me Dendy's going to be caught here. The Winter's Curse with the meatball right over it, but they're invulnerable. It doesn't do anything, but Dendy, he pops the Bloodstone, commits suicide. 45 seconds from the clock. They're going to be able to get the Spirit Bear as well, but that's just not enough. Digital Chaos, a nasty fight before that. If it wasn't for the fact that Dendy moved forward like that and had the Bloodstone suicide, that would have been a huge win for Na'Vi.
It would have been. It would have been. That was very expensive for DC, though. Buybacking again on both their supports. They've done this before in this game, and this really hurts their economy. But they're keeping themselves in the game. And DC, of course, pulling out the next level anti-combo, the Winter Curse and Deafening Blast. I do enjoy watching that.
Oh, it's so sad seeing Tornado inside a Chronosphere and then Meteor on top of Winter's Curse. Oh man.
Sometimes you just have to everything a guy, and Dendy is on that hit list right now. You see him, everything.
All right, so a lot of buybacks blown from Digital Chaos. They are on the verge of losing this game outright, but they do get a momentary reprieve in Aegis on the Faceless Void. Do they also pick up the cheese from that one? That's on the Enchantress.
Yeah, she's going to make good use of that. She has quite a lot of HP, so she can get out of the chain hexing for just a second to use that cheese. Maybe that could turn around the fight.
Yeah.
Also, the mana is quite welcome for her. She hasn't gotten to that point at all where she has the Moon Shard, and I think in this game she actually has to go MKB next.
Yeah,
if
I think so
any
too.
item at all. So, not the easiest game for Enchantress here.
Laser and Radiance, and even that one fight where we had the Chronosphere Tornado, it was Misery the one who was addressing the Supernova the most, but he missed a number of shots. Part of it being uphill, part of it being, I'm sure there was some Radiance Burn damage in there as well that caused some misses. There was just a lot of issues there. I agree with you. I think MKB is actually the priority for Misery now.
Oh, for sure. Interesting to see. They have the refresher, of course, on Weehaw. So a big place could be available right now with the Invoker. Gonna keep a close eye on him. See what he's gonna be doing.
If they can, it's all about the initiation at this point, right? They need to be able to catch the Tinker, and even then, they get the right kind of Splinter Blast into Refresher combination from the Invoker or any of that. Like, Digital Chaos can cream the fight. Otherwise, though, Na'Vi, they're going to be preying on Chaos, right? If they can actually dodge some of these initiations. Looks like General a bit too far forward. He's definitely dead. The arrow lands on him, and even if the damage is stalled up, they're really going to fight this one? Oh, no! The Chronos here, catching Seneko as well as Dichira, and I'm not sure how much Zindy can really do to stop this one. It looks like the ultimate going out for the Witch Doctors is not really doing enough. The Refresher goes out from Weehaw, pops that Deafening Blast. Again, Dichira will get taken out by the last shot from Misery. Resolution ever so barely.
Artstyle
Keeping his Aegis just alive. Artstyle into the trees, but Mo catches him. He sniffs that one out.
Yeah, he finds him. Wow, what a terrible decision.
I have no idea why Na'Vi chose to take that one, but
that was. You should probably just accept that General died. He had buyback anyway. It doesn't matter at all if he dies.
Yeah.
But they walk in and Chrono was there, saying hello to him. That was also an Aegis on DC. That's why it blows my mind so hard that Na'Vi went in for that. Maybe they get a little bit too greedy on the back of Dendy and his massive kill increase in his previous fights.
And they've also got some great high ground defenders. Witch Doctor and Phoenix, some of the better supports at it, even if they aren't the greatest.
Tinker.
Yeah, and obviously the big one being Tinker.
Yeah. They're in a hard spot right now. They don't have.
Yeah. There's not much Dendy can really do here to stop this push. Can't get any marching machines or lasers. Then he would just get too close to DC. So start chipping away at them.
Spamming out what he can. But they do lose one Rax there, and that's the first Rax of the game actually being taken by DC. This is a very bad indicator for Na'Vi, because they don't really have the best late game, even though they are the top farmers by far.
Siege Wagons, get him, Cardi!
Oh.
So close. If only those Forge Spirits were going for the range Rax.
He'll be back for that.
Yeah. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much. The important Rax was the melee one. And that range Rax will go down,
So, in response to all these speed beasts on the side of DC, Dendy has actually opted to drop the Aghanims and pick up the Dagon 5. So he's trying to single target 4, burst off one guy really quick and go for the next one. Very old school Tinker style.
Yeah.
And I think that's the correct choice, because he's no longer having that massive impact with the laser, shutting everything down.
Yeah. The more the MKBs and BKBs are able to address that miss percentage.
And also the HP pools just going up. It means you need to single down more instead of trying to kill everyone at once.
Yeah, we're seeing time and time again Digital Chaos are surviving with less than a quarter HP. And maybe Tinker can actually change all of that.
Oh, Mirana Invis going in on mids. Is there still a gem on? I don't think they have any
Resolution ready
detection
to go
at all.
General, okay. All right, they catch him this time around. Na'Vi,
it worked last time.
Don't charge into him after General gets picked. Artstyle barely gets away. That Winter's Curse was ready to go from Saxa.
Faceless Void is up at 6,000 gold as well now. Could be going for the Moonshard next.
I love this choice by Moo and Weehaw. Boots a travel down to the bottom lane. Stops the Tinker push immediately because Tinker's naturally going to try and go to the opposite side of the map to split push. So it addresses that real quickly. They're going to be able to take a tier 2 and go high ground from there.
Yeah. At least they can maybe force the buyback if it happens, just back off immediately. They lost the Aegis right now, so they might want to just back off and not risk it. They
have buyback on. Yeah, they have buyback on all their.
They just want to control the map right now. In fact, he's going for the Daedalus. Full Daedalus is being. Oh, he's selling off the items again. Not really sure here. Yes, Resolution. I like the idea of Daedalus, but we'll see if he wants to buy it, as Aegis could be up soon. Might be want to take that, then Moonshard could be better.
Yeah. Is there? Yeah, I guess Moonshard and.
Moonshard and just wait for next Aegis and then go for your next item. I think it's going to be the play.
A tense game 2 between Na'Vi and Digital Chaos.
Well, game 1 was the second fastest game of the Manila Major so far.
Yeah.
So why not make it one of the longest games?
Only to be outdone by complexity. Swinamullins.
Or newbie, if you want to.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Swinamullins always likes to be first. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
Got to be first in something, right?
Wow, that's harsh. I don't know if I'm going to be let back in the room if I answer you.
Resolution. Oh, he catches Dendy. He blinked right into that one. They're going to be able to deal with Artstyle first. He's gone. Dendy, it's going to be going down quick. Still to see Invisiblade onto Resolution. Actually stalls himself up. Dendy, though, hit by the tornado. He's going to come back down to ground. The very harsh reality is now, I have no idea how this Navi's going to be able to survive through this one. It's a beautiful Witcher's Curse. Managed to catch Artstyle and General. The Sunray goes on really well. No Druid's actually ripping them apart. Now Dendy buys back as he sees the opportunity to catch more. He's going to go for the rearm. Blink Shiva's constantly. Moo being spotted out ever so barely. The Scythe gets him in the end, and Moo will be controlled long enough for them to get that kill and maybe force some buybacks. Moo doesn't have one. Weehaw does.
Weehaw will have to buy back here. He really should. He didn't have to use his refresher in that fight as well, so he's ready for a big fight.
If they can catch Dendy somehow.
I think there's no way he's going to be holding on to this.
The pressure.
Or maybe
it's the General. Holy
God.
cow.
This really hurts quite a bit now.
March. Dendy covers the retreats of Na'Vi. But that is still, I think, ultimately a win from Digital Chaos. They have a very distinct, clear-cut win condition, which is kill Dendy, the game's over.
Pretty much. Even if he has his Bloodstone, it's only 9 charges, and no buyback available now means, as you say, he cannot get caught out anymore. And Faceless Void has so much damage output right now. He's looking for mid, but doesn't have Chrono Spirit just yet.
Yeah. If they can just get buybacks on their heroes for the side of Digital Chaos
they could beat
and push in the next 2 or 3 minutes, they have a pretty big opportunity to be able to end this game.
Oh, Saxayas has the counter Tinker item.
Nice.
The Lotus Orb. That is so massive. Not only does it remove the Hex if you have a person who is currently being hexed, but also Tinker, big chance of screwing himself over.
Every little help you could possibly get. They're going to TP Skull's Tome, and I'm not even sure if the Vanguard's going to help out too much, but we'll see. They are going to be able to take the mid lane of Rax. 10 more seconds on Weehaw, and that is not enough time for Na'Vi to do anything else but take the mid lane of Rax. They're going to start backing themselves away. So,
very good timing on that push by Na'Vi. Just realizing that we should have enough time to kill this and put them in a really bad spot. Even if they have buyback, they don't want to use it there.
I think this is smart. I think Na'Vi really want to hang around this area and see if they can get a quick surprise pick or team fight on DC, knowing that DC have an opportunity to be able to go for some sort of endgame scenario. But if they play too aggressive and get into the wrong kind of fight, General's going to be able to jump. He's got Resolution already controlled up. Now Sinego gets right in the middle. Things really great tornado. Definitely Glass goes down as well. Weehaw, Supernova, laid out. Resolution has to deal with that one first. And now General's right in the middle. Things managed to get, well, he can't kill the egg in time. That means now Weehaw's going to be stunned up. BKB activated, but he gets bashed up. Deafening Blast goes down, hits Dendy in the background, but Dendy manages to blow up Resolution. The Daggy goes into play, and here comes the buybacks. Oh, the arrow! Moo, he hits it on Dendy. DC, they get the ult. They're not going to be able to follow that up.
Void is so scared. He doesn't have BKB ready. He can't go in. Weehaw has to be careful here. His team is not willing to back him up on this one.
They bop back, hit the arrow, still not choosing to go for that fight. And Na'Vi are now the ones with a huge advantage. They just forced the buyback from DC. They can give themselves the Aegis of Cheese.
It's the biggest back and forth series that I've seen so far. And DC, they've had a lot of games like this. Against Wings, it was also very back and forth. But looks like Na'Vi control right now. Gonna go for the Aegis on Tinker. If they can get it. Oh, actually, he puts up the cheese. Wait. He's gonna swap it out. He wants the Aegis.
Yeah, that is definitely the play. With all the... I mean, you know Digital Chaos are willing to blow Chronosphere and everything they have to be able to kill you, so can't rely just on a cheese.
Resolution is pretty willing to blow his Chronosphere on just about anything he can find right now. I mean, the poor Beastmaster has been taking a few of them.
So it's just... he has the Abyssal Blade, right, on the Lunged Bear?
Yes.
So he's going to get second Abyssal Blade, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. It's
Couple of pistols, let's go.
It's a pretty standard build,
Yeah.
just going for the multiple. And then you have so much Disable coming in with the possible root, more bashes, and then Savage Roar, of course, being a beautiful skill.
Yeah. Between those 2 guaranteed bashes.
Oh, yeah. Just looking for a Tinker pick if you can find it, but in fact, just got a meatball and split pushed out a little bit.
Gotta keep up that pressure. As you know, Na'Vi, so look at a strike here. Misery.
Once they get into your
realizes he's
base,
too far forward.
your base is gone very quickly with the Beastmaster and Lone Druid.
Right.
They kill it off so quick. DC have to be aggressive in the way they take this fight. I think they should actually just get rid of Mantis-style Void and get Dagger. The positioning for him is pretty worth it right now. Either that or get the Refresher Orb. I'm not loving the Daedalus pick that he went for last. I think either Flame or Refresher would have been much better.
Given how farmed Weehaw is.
It's
He
not
doesn't
that they-
necessarily have to be the primary damage shield, right? He could,
Yeah.
like the disables can be everything they need because
Oh,
he's got
even-
3 damage shielders behind him.
Even Enchantress can deal. And Top trying to go in. BKB being used for this.
Okay, Lone Druid, guaranteed tier 3, and it looks like maybe even a melee racks with this BKB as they just can't stop it fast enough. Now, here comes the Chronosphere, it's on Digiraw. This isn't big enough, but maybe if they can kill him. Oh, no, there actually goes the Supernova. They managed to be able to buy time to be able to get the save. That's going to be a full refresh. Digiraw heals up to full off of that Supernova, and Digital Chaos have blown their BKBs. The Splinter Blast onto Artstyle is going to be able to get the one-off kill there, but Digital Chaos still don't have enough to guarantee win this fight. As now Na'Vi start coming forward, Digital Chaos all low. They're going to have to give up their melee racks. There goes that counter item to the Tinker.
It's
they
all
get the
the
disable
Invoker.
onto Dendy. DC, they've given up a lane of racks, and now they just need to
Oh,
get
he
back to
gets
battle.
bashed!
But now he gets bashed up. Weehaw managed to get the save there from the Cold Embrace, but they got the roar on him. He has to go back to the Fountain Terrain, heal himself up, actually pushing forward. Deafening Blast takes out the Bear,
Tinker
now
coming
going
in.
for Digiraw. Sineko trying to help out, but he can't just stop it. Dendy comes in, pulls up one, going for another one. Misery, he's going to be target. No, he gets bashed up. There goes that Aegis. Misery still down. Digiraw, he managed to barely heal himself up with a cheese. He's still going to go down. Dendy right in the middle of this. Ray Arm trying to stop it, but no. He ends up going down. 2 minutes on the clock with no
Marona
buyback.
Chase is going after General as well. Just
Move.
trying to catch more.
He's trying to get it.
Shadow
5 more
Blade.
seconds. Shadow Blade TP out. Point
Arrow
blank
though.
arrow will stop that one, but they don't have the vision. They're trying to be able to catch this.
And meanwhile, they bring down the Phoenix as well, chasing with the Winter Wyvern and Invoker. Great kills there. Wow, this game, it's just so intense.
10 more seconds. We'll have the buyback for the Tinker up in time. But DC with 2 racks down against a Lone Druid, there's no way they can just sit in their base anymore.
No, DC have to go. They're definitely on a clock here where they want to push and even out the racks at least. They're in such a dangerous position, having no tier 3 tower bottom. And we see, of course, that initiation. I like the BKB Lone Druid. It was really, really great, but that Phoenix Egg was great.
It was such a great save. What really went wrong here for Na'Vi? If you look at just that
They
fight,
ran out
it
of gas.
looks so
It's
good.
just the Tinker, after a long fight like this, he starts to go really low on his mana pool, and he could not keep fighting, but they kept going in with the rest of the heroes.
Big props to Sineko for that beautiful save, giving Na'Vi
And,
a fighting chance.
Tinker and Phoenix did buyback, by the way. So they were forced to come back into this.
And that is exactly why Digital Chaos are smoked up looking for a pick, because one kill by itself can win the game for them. But it goes both ways.
It definitely does. There's not many heroes who have buyback right now. It's only the Witch Doctor, Winter Wyvern, Mirana, and the Lone Druid. Lone Druid, of course, being the biggest hero with the buyback available. But
Yeah.
if he dies right now, he doesn't have a bear anyway. So
So it may not
so
even...
may not. Yeah.
it may be all kind of useless heroes that have buyback.
I think Mirana can still get quite a lot stronger with her final item, by the way.
True.
She has one full inventory slot available, and if she gets something like an E-Blade, that could be really good. Just helping out more with the burst potential, also being able to save people from the Lone Druid Bear.
You don't think he should continue down the right-click build and go for, like, MKB?
I think he could, but the E-Blade gives quite a bit of right-click, and it can also stop the threat of the bear in many scenarios.
Yeah. A saving item for potentially the Invoker or...
But MKB or even the Daedalus could have been fine too in this game.
Really just
Since the
comes
Aghanim's
down
is gone
to,
now.
Comes down to feel at this point, right?
Yeah, any item is going to be fine because it is BKB duration. He hits quite hard.
Maybe in that case, it's Digital Chaos. They have been set up for this. they can sit back because the buyback was used on the Tinker. They forced enough. They don't have to continue to be aggressive. Maybe they sit back, spend their time farming, get those next round of super late game finishing items, the finishing touches on these cores, and force Na'Vi to be the ones to attempt to go high ground. But that is still a dangerous proposition. Letting Na'Vi determine the pace of that game by giving them the opportunity to push into you, even if you win that defense, you still may get mega'd and be forced into a situation where you have to all-out push into the enemies. So
yeah, and the danger of getting picked off in this game, DC actually have a smoke available in their shop. I feel like they never run out of smokes. I don't
really
know how. But Na'Vi, they have 3 minutes until their next smoke, so there's a little bit of a timing window here during the buyback being down, where DC could go for a smoke play.
maybe they were stockpiling them in the early game.
They probably were. I mean, buying one smoke immediately to just start the next cooldown is a thing.
Aggressive wards being placed down by Na'Vi. DC still want to keep this map control.
Trying to wrap around here. They know the enemy are on the other side. Trying to sunstrike an arrow, find any intel they can.
Nice
Tornado
ward there.
actually gonna catch art style, but they're not gonna go in for that.
The ward looks like going to be cleaned up. I mean, they've been pinging it, so they know about it. But Snako tried to get himself a really aggressive ward inside the enemy base.
This Arcane Rune Invoker just having fun sunstriking so quickly again. Octarine and Arcane Rune on Invoker. I kind of feel bad for him that they didn't get to take a fight during this.
He's like, who needs Rune, right?
Definitely. Just have enough spells to always cycle. And I'm looking to art style and thinking, where is he gonna go now? Is he gonna go for a BP next on his Witch Doctor? Because he's actually got 4.1k gold. There's so much money on everyone in this game.
That ultimate. This late into the game, it doesn't do quite as much, but it's still definitely one of the decent threats. That Eggs upgrade.
Yeah. Looking across all the heroes in the game right now, there's almost 40,000 gold stashed in just current gold. Like that they're holding on to, not items worth.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. But of course, buybacks are big. We're 72 minutes in now. Both teams trying to respect a lot.
I like this BKB pickup, though, for Dendi.
Yeah, at some point you need a BKB, and he's just trading off a little bit of his nukes in order to be able to go more aggressively into the center of the fight.
Yeah.
But he still has to be careful about some things, though. Wind Wyvern ulti, the Enchantress and her infinite damage, and of course, the Chronosphere.
Yeah. And that is really the big thing, right? That with the BKB, this now forces Digital Chaos to try and get that Chronosphere on you, because they can't rely on the... Well, I guess there's still the Winter's Curse.
And it's not just that Chronosphere, it's one of the Chronospheres.
Yes.
Because he has that Refresher available now. BKB, Blink, and Refresher. I love how he just changed up this itemization for late game. This is a great understanding of what he needs to do.
Both teams poking and prodding at each other, but neither one giving up an opening in their defense.
Oh, this could be a good smoke though, but they see that no one is pushing bottom, being a little bit wary here. Now we're gonna TP straight out. All right then. Not this time, DC. Not this time.
No. Man, the vision from Na'Vi is...
It's disgusting.
So good.
The Hawks, the Boars, and the wards, of course. If we
look
look
at
at
Digital,
DC's,
yeah.
they have the defeatist wards. Not just one of them, but 3 of them. I always call it that, because people throwing them down before your tier 3 tower falls, that's the defeatist mentalist.
Yeah.
Word.
I mean, it's also such an extremely defensive position that it just means that you're never going to feel comfortable.
Well, your aggressive smokes are almost impossible to pull off when you do this, because you have no intel outside of your base. You're just like, okay, where do we go? And speaking of smokes, here comes Na'Vi.
Na'Vi in a very interesting position to be able to catch Digital Chaos, as they just may push a bit too far forward.
They see them.
Oh no, they're actually in the high ground. They see the board. They know Na'Vi's close. They They just need to see the opening. General gets the jump on a move, but immediately the Cold Embrace gets laid out. They get the Supernova. It's on the high ground too, but it may not affect the fight. His Resolution managed to get the Chronosphere. Refreshes, but he doesn't have enough mana. He can't actually pop it. He gets the BKB a secondary time, but it doesn't matter. He's being ripped to shreds by the Bashers. Now the Witcher's Curse comes in to save him, but it may not be enough. They manage to get the Tinker. He's down for 2 minutes and a half. Digital Chaos are actually going to be able to win this fight. Here comes a TPN. They're going to try and win this one without now the ultimate Chrono. Resolution stops this jump in. Tinker still has an opportunity to be able to come in and try and wipe out a couple of these heroes. Here comes Denny. TC's blows him up. Success up next. Bye-bye, Birdie. Next up, General. They're trying to find more. Dendy, he's not going to see anything else. Digital Chaos managed to keep both the Void as well as the Invoker alive, and they still have 2 buybacks.
That timing for Dendy's buyback to come off cooldown. He's like, just let me come back into the fight.
He's spam clicking. He's like, back, damn you.
Definitely. And
So
they
many
get
members.
the sweet payoff as well. Aegis and Cheese just waiting right there after they win the fight.
All right. A second life for Dendy.
Yeah, at least for DC, they still have buyback on both the Void and Invoker, so that's something that they still have, but they use fewer refreshers in that fight. And if they push right now, Na'Vi are in a great spot to close this game.
Digital Chaos hoping to be able to hide on their high ground and keep their buybacks intact, but that's just simply not going to happen. I think Na'Vi, they're going to go down this bottom lane. They're going to force the buyout. There's already one from a Winter Wyvern. He knows it's coming.
Might as well do it as soon as possible. If you know that you're going to get forced to buy back, do not hold off on it, because then your cooldown is going to be longer later on, right?
Yeah, maybe, just maybe you scared Na'Vi back enough, long enough that Moog can keep his buyback, which is obviously way more important. Maybe the stalling tactics of Splinter Blast, and it looks like it might actually work here. Na'Vi are not in a position to be able to push forward into the base, so they will keep that critical buyback. And these little things that we're talking about here may not seem like so big, keeping one buyback on one of the 4 damage dealers that you have, but when the game, the margins here are so razor thin, every little bit helps in that final clash.
And that's where it's just so nerving to play against a hero like Tinker, because you know he has Aegis now. He's going to be very aggressive. He could look to just initiate on anyone in the chain hex. There's no getting out of that unless Winter Wyvern is there to save you. So they really have to play close and make sure that they have the little short counter damage.
Dendy Farm, I don't know what you're possibly going to be able to get this late to the game. But
He's 9 slotted right now, I guess, but he's farming for words and stuff, I suppose. It's not like his supports are starving or anything. They're looking pretty good on their end in terms of item progression.
Well, Digital Chaos are happy to try and wait out the Aegis. I don't imagine Na'Vi are going to give them that opportunity. I'm sure this high ground push will be coming before the Aegis is down.
It's just so risky for Na'Vi as well to force a full 5-man push when there's Refresher, Void, and Invoker. We saw in that last fight, if Void did not run out of mana, that would have been so sad. Actually, he needs to somehow get a little bit more mana into his pool, because he has 900. So when he goes, he doesn't have enough to use 2 Chronospheres.
What do you need to swap out? You need to, like, get a Scotty to swap out
there-
for one of those
there's
damage
no-
items?
There's no mana boots on your team or anything. I don't know. Maybe he needs, you know, Saksa to pick up a bottle and start bottling him. Get a mango.
Operation.
He needs
Operation
a mango.
Mango. All right.
Yes, that's what he needs.
All right. Let's see.
It's quite important. It really is, because normally when you have Refresher on Void like this, you definitely want to use your 2 Chronospheres after each other and chain stun something. You don't want to do it 2 times in a fight by a different moment.
Yeah.
Also, this Mjolnir effect looks really crazy on Mu. I haven't paid attention to it, but the red lightning, it's kind of cool, dude.
Oh,
well, yeah.
Oh, that's the
Compendium.
in work.
Yes, and
It's the little things that we need to be able to unwind from this very intense matchup. As we've got 2 minutes on the clock, but neither team is looking to fight just yet. Both teams farming away, getting those buyback, trying to get them back into play.
Yeah. So much about positioning right now. I would love to see Moon just get to a point where he can buy up that full Daedalus and increase his DPS so much for a next team fight. But he knows he needs to hold buyback money as well. So he needs to save up. But right now he could finish it. He's going to send out the courier. finally has that Daedalus, which is going to massively increase his damage. Having the Mjolnir for attack speed already.
We have
in a much better spot.
the Aghanim's for the Lone Druid as well, so he doesn't have to worry so much about the limitations of that leash.
He also has a Lotus Orb of his own, so
Yeah.
he can definitely mess with DC a little bit as well.
Yeah, we get the right kind of counter to Splinter Blast.
There's actually not that much.
Yeah,
they
that's
can
actually
return.
pretty much it.
Well, there's like Winter
Or,
Wyvern
sorry,
ulti,
yeah,
there's
sorry.
the Cold Snap, and other than that, there's not much. There's no Hex, in fact, on all of DC, and no Orchid either, so I guess it's a pretty low value Lotus Orb.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just
yeah.
a question of whether if he gets the right Winter's Curse counter,
Yeah.
then that'll obviously
I mean,
be game-winning.
if he gets that off, that is massive. And just putting a Lotus Orb on Tinker to scare the enemy from focusing him.
Not sure. Yeah, that actually could be a really big factor. Maybe because of the Lotus Orb that Tinker has to deal with, where he's potentially Scythe of Icing himself, they need to be able to find an opening to take that
Oh god.
counter Scythe of Ice off of him.
You're saying he built a Lotus Orb to counter Dendy's own
Lotus Orb?
his own Hex?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's some next level countering here. Ditya Ra already ahead of his time. Mirana Invis going off again, but the Hawk has seen them. Gonna be hard to find anything here again for DC. Probably just gonna waste their time.
Those next round of wards should be coming up though for Digital Chaos. Maybe they can finally get themselves some aggressive vision rather than the 3 wards that they had in base.
Yeah.
Not really giving them too many opportunities.
And,
They're just kind of blind Moonlight shadowing and running out.
Sport Life is looking really good on both teams right now. On one side you have Weehaw buying all the wards for you, and on the other side you have Dendy sponsoring the supports quite heavily as well. So it's never been easier to get your acquiring items is easy now.
Uh-oh, Mo! Count out. Scythe of Ice. He's going to be abyssal up. He's popped. There is no way for you to get out of that one. You can't afford to be that far forward
And just TP out right in front of the enemy.
He needs to have Saksa behind him if he's going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit aggressive on play. He's going to be forced to buy back for sure. Na'Vi, they know what they can make happen with this. And we'll see. They can get the correct initiation. Void still has no solution for his mana problems, by the way, so I don't see any Mango in sight, Capitalist. It's going to be harsh.
We'll see whether or not he's able to get off that.
Second
double Chronosphere because it's obviously going to be needed.
Buyback will be down for Moo in this next fight. His positioning also going to be rather key.
As DC have to hold the high ground. One lane Rax, there goes his jump forward, Chronosphere, managed to catch 4! Oh my god, Resolution now with the refresher, but the Dan doesn't have enough mana, but still, they have the Deafening Blast, they're controlling Digiraw beautifully, but the Supernova on the other side of the cliff, Seneko clinches it at the moment of despair, as now Digital Chaos gonna lose. One, Misery's already down, blown up by the Dagon here, and now the fight slows down. Digital Chaos retreat back to their high ground while Na'Vi do the same. Moo jumps forward and gets the Spirit Bear, a free pickoff.
Yeah, so he has to use the resummon there, but DC still have that Void ulti. I wonder how glad they're going to be to take a fight, though. Enchantress is a big part of their damage. Na'Vi, of course, just taking it easy.
At the same time, so is the Spirit Bear. If they can take that one away from Na'Vi.
And this is the most evenly matched I've seen two teams in a very long time.
This lane's the game, 82 minutes.
It's just crazy, and Soneko is making massive plays. Not just that he picks up the guy who's being focused, he makes sure to do it in the best possible position always.
Yeah.
Putting himself where it's so hard to reach and get to, because there's definitely a lot of attack speed on the side of DC, and he could die, but nope, he's got that positioning down. What a crazy, crazy thing.
Na'Vi not feeling it. Not gonna go for the high ground push with a cooldown on their Spirit Bear. No Aegis, no Witch Doctor,
and
no Supernova either.
Yeah, there's just it's just gonna be hard to go straight off. I think they want to have the resummon again. That's the biggest thing. I'm sure having the Witch Doctor is kind of good too, I suppose. But Na'Vi, they're starting to set up now. Witch Doctor, of course, has travels. Navi TPing in. Oh,
Weehaw! Did he just catch him? Dendy is going to be right on top of that ice wall, tries to go for the rearm, but now the Chronosphere in turns catches Dendy. And we're going to be able to take him out for 2 minutes and maybe force the buyback.
He does have buyback.
Spirit Bear as well. Managed to get the Abyssal Blade onto Saksa. Dendy doesn't want to blow his buyback just yet.
Range
Looks
Racks
that'll
was picked
cost
up,
them
by the
Spirit
way.
Bear.
Range Racks went down to the Beastmaster ratting. And second bear is dead. 8 seconds cooldown on it right now.
Looking for more. Seneko will be able to get the dive away, but Weehaw, he's a quick bugger. He might still be able to catch somebody here. Digiball spots him right as he TP's out.
Not going to be able to catch him there. Scouting Roshan, not up yet just yet. Tinker,
It's going to be
87
difficult.
seconds.
Look at that. I was wondering what that was going into, the ultimate orb he had earlier. That is a full Mjolnir now. And I was just about to say it's difficult for Digital Chaos, even though the Tinker is down and they want to be able to force that buyback. It's difficult with 2 lanes of racks down and even the range racks down at the bottom lane. A completely exposed melee racks is all that's left standing between them and Mega Creeps.
It's so close. So close. Navi are so close they can taste it. But Digital Chaos have that team fight. They definitely do. And Void keeping his refresher in base so he can always use that to get his secondary ulti up. But now with the Mjolnir, he's going to add tons more damage as well. I feel they're just scaling slightly better than Navi here. So much money put into Lone Druid and Tinker.
Are they going to go for a play here? Go for the play onto the melee racks. The Spirit Bear, it's going to go for it. Backdoor protects and be damned. It chunks through.
I mean, it is slowly doing it.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Something's got to put a stop to this one. They're actually going to have a TP back here from the Invoker, and this actually forced the rest of Digital Chaos away. They can't go for the high ground push because of that play.
Yeah, that's a very great defense, and that makes sure that Tinker doesn't have to buy back. So he's going to be fine as well. Sneaky rats.
The one opening that Digital Chaos had for the longest time, I mean 20 to 25 minutes I would say, has been the amount of time that Navi have been controlling this game for the most part, have had the slight advantage, have had the map control, have had essentially that one more win condition sort of scenario. And Digital Chaos had one sliver there. One sliver where they were able to take some control.
Oh, and Roche is up again here. And Navi, they're going in for it. Wonder if DC can even get there or if they realize.
Is it even worth it at this point to try and scramble into a Roshan pit fight against a Phoenix?
They're going to get a second piece if they get it, by the way, because Lone Druid never had his, so saving that. That Roshan is definitely going to go their way as they're dealing with the mid push.
Right, then he shows up for the Aegis. Is that Roshan number 5, 6?
I'm not sure. I lost count, Capitalist. I lost count.
Either way, it's been a long and grueling game for both teams here in game number 2 in this winners group.
Such a massive tournament as well. So much on the line.
Resolution makes the jump in. He managed to get the Chronosphere onto 2, focusing down Digiron first, but remember that cheese is going to be able to come into play. The Supernova actually managed to catch and once again save the Lone Druid while Sandy right in the middle of all these heroes. They get the Winter's Curse on him, but it also stops the damage from that Meteor Blast. And now DC have the opportunity to go back through. That Winter's ultimate might actually kill Misery. They managed to get another Chronosphere, and now the Meteor Blast over the top. They managed to take down life number 1 of Dendy, and Seneko will also fall. But now Dendy's back, and he sees the opportunity to be able to end this game outright, but maybe he's too far forward. Resolution, he managed to hold the Savage Roar. It gets him off of Dendy. Dendy's still trying to back himself away. They split the blast a little bit more. Resolution going for it for the side device. A little bit more damage. Baby, Resolution. He just needs a prod for the lightning to finish Dendy off, but he gets it. He gets the Dendy kill. No, Dendy still dies. He has the buyback ready to go, and so does Resolution. Meanwhile, the bear is chasing down Sockstop, but Digiron's going to go down first.
Oh god, the arrow actually brings down Dendy there as Boo slightly fires it off. But now they are Mega Creeps. They have to go now and finish this game. They're not going to be able to play this one out.
They catch the Spirit Bear again. This actually could be big.
Yeah,
the BKB goes down. They know they have to save this bear, but another bash comes through. The Sunstrike also going to be able to land and finishes it off. And now he has no Spirit Bear, even if he buys back.
He can buy back and buy Refresher.
Oh, wow.
He can actually do that.
That would be insane.
He can actually buy back Refresher and then have his Spirit Bear. And he might get forced to do that. We'll see. As DC are pushing down the mid lane. God, these Mega Creeps, they're hard to kill. Saksa is really struggling to bring them down.
Divine Rapier on an Invoker, full right-click build here from Weehaw. He's got something to prove, even if this isn't secret. If he could
He's
take
gonna
the
do
top
it.
of the secret,
There
there
it
it is. The refresher, a second Spirit Bear, and this is something that Digital Chaos may not be expecting. Something that turns the tide into Navi's favor.
Oh, God.
25 seconds left on the Tinker, but the buyback is inevitable at this point in time. There's no way he can leave that one. DC threatened to go straight for the throne, but now bounce back. Take the tier 3, start retreating. Navi, they've got Megas. There's not necessarily a whole lot of need, but now the Moonlight Shadow, the fake back, go back in. The Spirit
the
Bear
Necro is there,
actually going to start threatening these tier 4 towers.
Necro revealing them. They can't get in and find a pick, hit anything. And meanwhile, their base is also being ratted.
Yeah.
Just slowly, this Spirit Bear. Oh, they catch a Spirit Bear.
The Spirit Bear actually may be decent here.
That's a good pickoff if they can get it.
Move.
Oh.
Gets the arrow just in time. Now the Cold Snap. It's going to be able to control the Spirit Bear. We've never been so excited about a summon kill like that. But again, any razor-thin margin that goes one way or the other for these two evenly matched up teams can mean everything. 60 seconds for a Spirit Bear, but
It's
the
all
lanes
up
are
to
pushed
Tinker.
in.
It's all up to Tinker right now. Keeping the lanes pushed in, make sure that they don't get to their base. Of course, he has no buyback though, so he's really got to play a little bit scared. And of course, DC trying to make their way to the base again. Everyone just making their way. They have travels on Invoker, but he doesn't want to push too far bottom when he knows the Beastmaster and Tinker could come in.
Right. Your team does seem to be able to handle Megas pretty well. You already had the Invoker with the Mjolnir earlier.
They
but
just have so much farm on the side of DC. That's how they handle it.
Yeah.
They're just really, really farm.
Well, compendium predictions.
Yep,
I think you
90
know where
plus.
this is going. 90 plus, almost 900 CS for the Tinker. Doesn't get crazier than this. Double
goes
blinks in,
straight
triple
in.
blinks in, DC! Oh, they're grasping in the dark for anything to be able to seek out Na'Vi, but Na'Vi already back in the pound. They're going to go straight for the throne here, trying to threaten Na'Vi as immediately as possible and force them into an air. Here comes the Chronosphere. They're catching out Seneko, but the Lone Druid's right in the middle of everything, going for move first. The Refresher goes out, Primal Roar onto Weehaw. They get the ultimate onto him, but they're controlling him well enough. They get the kill. That's going to be the Divine Rapier on the deck. Now mass buybacks. DC threatening to be able to try and get back out of here to be able to save anything here. Resolution is going to be the target. Supernova goes down, and now a Chronosphere. It whiffs everything but the Supernova will go down, yes, sure, but Na'Vi are still in good control here. The arrow comes out, are still, he gets caught, but they're going for the throne. DC, you're in trouble. Na'Vi, they've taken their tier 4s, they're beating on the throne. Oh my god, they're gonna do it. Na'Vi have done it. Na'Vi have claimed the groups. 4-0 taking out DC, and a 2-0 sweep as they go for the throne race.
Look at
Na'Vi
them.
are back, baby.
Those are some big smiles after that. 91 minutes, 27 seconds, and it came down to that, a TP into the enemy base. Dear God.
There is no question about who deserves to move forward in this group. Na'Vi have done it. In an hour-and-a-half long game, they have proven themselves trial by fire against Digital Chaos in
And
this
not a
game number
single
2.
loss in the group stage as well. That should be mentioned. Na'Vi, extremely good performance here, going 4-0 in their matchups.
Unbelievably, absolutely astounding, the way that match went.
Yeah, that was some next level fights as well. So many things going down. Huge credit to Soneko for his amazing Phoenix plays, his many saves with the Aghanims. I have not seen one game where so much impact was done by a Phoenix, not by the Sunray.
By the Aghanims
By
upgrade.
the actual
Was
ulti.
that 3 saves he got successfully, if not more?
If not more, yeah. There was too much going down in the team fights to actually see everything in one go.
Insanity. Absolutely insanity.
Lost for words right now. It's
I mean, we have to give props to Digital Chaos, though.
for sure.
They pushed that to the very edge. If they won this, who knows what happens in Game 3. Maybe Navi's broken, and DC managed to come out on top. But DC obviously proved, after that Game 1, obviously not really great, but Game 2, they proved they can stand up against Navi, that they are a very strong contender, and probably looking at second place in this group with this kind of style.
DC are, they're a serious threat for anyone who wants to secure upper bracket here in Group B. So,
Your thoughts on the other two teams?
I think that Wings are probably the strongest out of Wings and Secret, but I think DC they're showing themselves. And if not in this game, then in the previous performances, I think DC are just really strong.
All right.
Where'd you have Navi originally?
In my prediction,
Yeah.
I can't remember, but not
Because
higher than
English analysts obviously had it pretty low.
I think top 11
Okay.
was my prediction for Navi.
All right, well, they may be looking at an upset on that one.
Maybe
Navi,
higher.
Top of their group, 90-minute game. Analysts have so much to talk about it. Let's give them their time.
Yes, they do indeed. Thank you very much, Cap. And wow, what an incredible game in Group B. We didn't have to wait long for an epic, did we? And let's find out from our 3 panel members exactly what they made of it, as we've got plenty to look back on. Black, we'll start with you. You attempted to be calling this like the throw many times in that game, but in the end, Na'Vi have come through.
For me, what I didn't understand is it really felt like Na'Vi, they had like a huge lead at one point. They were already sieging the base. They had the base tower. They just needed to play it calm and just finish it. They had like a huge gold advantage, huge XP advantage, and in the end, they just like, maybe they were too emotional. They got like too happy because they could already smell the victory, you know. But then they just kept running in one after another. Like one person died, then 2 run up the hill without any vision. They get croned, and then they die. Then they lose the top Rex randomly. It was like, I think they were sweating there for a moment. Like, as I said at the start, if the Tinker gets a good game, it's very likely they're gonna win. And the only reason they won is because, like, then you really carried them. After like a couple of missteps, he played those teamfights really perfectly. And I don't know. I think they dominated them much more than it looked like at the end, and they should have closed out the game much earlier, but DC definitely gave him a run for the money, and they made them pay for their mistakes.
91 minutes and 26 seconds, Charlie. It's a long game by any stretch of the imagination, one of the longest we've ever had in major history, and probably the longest game we're ever going to have during this one. It's unlikely we're going to have a longer one, you would have thought, but in the end,
it's still early.
It is too early, but in the end, Na'Vi have come through this group 4-0.
Absolutely. Huge credits to them. You want to talk about MVPs, you want to give support. This is very much a team effort. Great outdraft in all of their games. That last one, great outdraft by Black Dota. You really called so many of those picks. Maybe if Anti-Mage gets back in the meta, maybe you can actually play one of these games. But in all seriousness, great play out of Na'Vi. It's really good to see Dendi shine once again.
And you said it's a great team effort. I do want to pick out one player, though. Dichira, 61k in that game, is the 5th highest of all time in Pro Dota. And the only time it was, you were commentating, and that was the Cloud9 Epic 3-hour, whatever ridiculous game where 4 of them had a higher net worth than he did. So
very different time in Dota with
Indeed.
comeback mechanics and buybacks.
So
justifying
that's
it.
extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary.
I think the biggest things about that game came down to a couple key item choices. The Lone Druid went Pipe immediately after Radiance, and it gave them huge ability to team fight, and it really showed the weaknesses in DC's draft. To me and Black were talking about it. The fact that they opened with Enchantress and Potom, it's like, in those mid-game fights, they just didn't have the ability to kill somebody during Chronosphere. If they had like a Phoenix as their other support, yeah, they can kill anybody with a Chrono. But Enchantress didn't have the attack speed quite yet for them to get pickoffs, and it just put DC in this terrible position where even if the Chronos were okay, they missed their timings. And there was that like 10-minute period where Resolution whiffed a couple Chronos, and it just allowed Na'Vi to get back in the game despite DC having such a good early game. So I feel like they played that game very, very well. And the early mid lead-ups, just that they missed that mid-game push. And the Vanguard Radiance build on Void, I like it, but it just gives really bad solo kill damage. Like, you can't kill a Tinker in a Chrono, and they have to be able to do that to win team fights. So it made the game so hard.
Hold those thoughts. We are going to get more from our panel members in a very few minutes, but first, let's catch up with the winning player. Dendi is with Action Slacks right now.
All right, I am Sir Action Slacks here with Dendi, and what a freaking game. You guys went undefeated in the group stage, and here you are. It's victory time. I got a very simple question, man. What happened over the last few weeks? What's different? What changed?
I don't know. Some miracle happens here and there, you know. Yesterday it was like every scream. Today you're first place in the group, so we are really happy.
Absolutely not a miracle. You guys played out of your mind in that game, especially game 2. Now, I've had the honor of sitting in on you guys playing before, and the entire time you guys are just screaming, yelling at each other, going crazy. Tell me about what that atmosphere was like in game 2 during that base race. What was it like in there?
Oh, I actually noticed that we are doing race when it was almost over. So I was like, oh, fighting, and the guy screaming like, why are you screaming? What's wrong? And I'm looking, oh, okay, Tron dead. Like, wow, no fighting.
That's the most Navi answer ever. There's stuff going on all over the place in that game. Okay, well, speaking of Game 2, I'm really interested in your Tinker pick. He seems to be coming back. Why did you guys pick Tinker? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We felt that he really fits the lineup against us. So, yeah, that's simple.
Do you think we're going to be seeing more Tinker coming up?
I hope so, but the same way, the game was so hard that, sometimes you just want the game to be easier. So I'm not sure about that, but I hope so. It's fun to play.
All right, good. Now, you guys have beat a NA team, DC. You beat an EU team. You practice all the time against CIS teams. You're probably going to be up against China. Who are you most worried about coming up here from the Chinese scene?
Wings, Switch Gaming Reborn, newbie.
So all of them. You're okay. You're nervous about all of them. Well, that's good, right? Nerves keep you alive.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Good stuff, man. Well, last one for you. Everybody says Navi's back. I think Navi never left. What do you think, man? You back? You never left? What's your words out there to your fans and everybody watching here who's so excited that you are finally kicking butt again?
I'm not sure if he left or not, but Navi's back!
Navi's back! All right, Danny, you deserved a nice time in the pool, so go enjoy. Thank you so much. And we'll shoot it right on back to the analysts. Thank you a lot, guys.
Yeah, he's deserved his time in the pool, and I can tell you the pool is very nice here at the hotel, so I'm sure Danny will be spending plenty of hours this afternoon in the pool. Well deserved it is too. Gents, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights, actually. Let's get the highlights up and running and show you some of the high points of Navi's play throughout this, because there are so many in here. Not just good plays by Navi, but actually good plays by DC in here as well. We shouldn't forget that. Yeah,
Soxa had an amazing early game, and it was times like, well, this fight went a little bit bad for them, but Cold Embrace really kept a lot of their heroes alive and allowed them to turn fights in a lot of cases. This was a good fight for Navi, though. Yeah,
and then at this point, this was the first time that Navi really got involved in the team fights. Up to that point, DC were winning every fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, DC did play really, really well. I think in a lot of ways they were the better team. They just simply got outdrafted. You saw Misery get stumped on that drafting phase, didn't know what to do, wanted to pick the Phoenix, but it got hard countered in the game before. I think he really just wanted more time to take another look at his game plan and what he should do.
They used a lot of bonus time, Charlie, didn't they, in the first two picks and in the first two I think they had like 5 seconds left after the first 2 picks and bat. I mean, you just can't do that.
I mean, I spoke about it to Nahas, and he said they did it before because they're like a very versatile team, which I understood. But the difference was, in game 1, they did not. At the last pick, they had like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Here, they got the Navi picked Tinker. They had 10 seconds to respond, and they're like, what do we pick? What do we pick? Winter. That's not an answer. That's not the answer to Tinker. And in the end, even though DC won a lot of fights, Tinker just kept farming, and once he gets 6 slotted, it's so hard for you to actually close out the game. And I think that ultimately broke their necks.
It really came down to the Chronospheres. You have to hit the Chronosphere. That's your only option.
I think we're going to see a few of those in amongst these replays as well, because some of them were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, especially that last fight at the Tier 1 tower, they led Winter Wyvern ult, followed up by Chronosphere. But every fight this entire game, it was so nice edge. It's literally the difference between a bash or an arrow landing or a couple nukes. This one was okay.
Yeah, it's got a couple.
But he does get roared because of it. If they use Chronosphere and they can't even kill a Witch Doctor, that's a bad fight.
Yeah.
The problem is he has to get off a great Chronosphere every single time. That's so hard to do. That's a lot of pressure to put on Resolution.
Oh, that laser was so good. But they did still end up getting it. Every fight was so close. Denny, this is probably Denny's best team fight, I think, of maybe not the whole game, but he just completely shut down DC's ability to win that fight. He came through, cleaned up really hard. We jumped in time. We're still only 40 minutes in here, but
we're only less than halfway through.
This was like the first really good fight for DC, and that's because they killed Beastmaster before Beastmaster got anything off here, and they were able to clean up the 2 supports afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, they got 3 in this fight, but then Navi also got 3 in the end as well, because they kind of chased them back into the base, if you remember.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's super hard for them to deal with Tinker. It's really funny because Blitz was back here during the game just telling Bruno, hey, you know what would be great if there was a hero that could gap close that was still in the meta that could deal with Tinker. And Bruno just looks at Blitz and he's like, sorry about Storm. It's not happening.
Yeah, Storm's a hard hero to balance, though. He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem is mainly Sumail.
Got to balance Sumail first.
Yeah.
Okay. Charlie, any comments on that before we move on?
Oh, I mean, no.
Okay. Yeah, all these fights were just so difficult for DC to win, especially at this point in the game where Enchantress, for example, only had like, I don't even know what that new item is called. It's not
Hurricane Pike?
Hurricane Pike,
Pike?
yeah.
Yeah.
He just had like Hurricane Pike with Midas. He didn't have Ags yet. His damage was decent, but not super big. Same case for Resolution. He just had the Radiance build. He eventually got Manta, and eventually went into like actual really good damage items. But me and Black were talking about this. I was a little unsure if his build was correct. I really didn't like Radiance much against Lone Druid. I think we said he should have gone like Manta and Diffusal Blade. That way he has more single target damage. And he has 2 ways to remove laser from himself.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better. He could also diffuse the bear to remove Rabbit. There's a lot of options.
If you go Vanguard Radiance, you
Okay, here we go. Here's the good chrono.
Oh yeah, and Dendy just blinked into that too.
Yeah, he did.
That was really unfortunate for him.
Later on, he actually had like a couple of really, really great Chronos with a refresher as well.
Yeah,
but
I think he caught 4 at one point
Yeah,
as well.
but like he miscalculated his mana a little bit twice, and instead of catching 4 heroes twice, he actually didn't have enough mana to put out the second Chrono. It was a bit unfortunate.
I don't think he can double Chrono with just refresher. He needs an X because he only had about 900. 2 Chronos is 600. That's not enough to refresh and use your other skills. He actually just didn't have the build. He needed damage. Refresher doesn't give you plus mana pool or anything, so
it doesn't.
It was tough.
Somebody needed Arcanes.
Yeah, then you need to like time it correctly too.
Right.
But it's like so late into the game. Everybody has BOTs. Nobody really has Arcanes anymore.
Yeah.
This
This is a very
what a Chrono.
This is a very hard
this
game
was the one.
for-
He just didn't have mana to cast the second one. Like he has the second one up right now, but like they can't really do anything.
Yeah, he's always scared basically. He's worried about the Tinker jumping in, hexing him, and then he dies, and he doesn't get a second Chrono. So
I mean, they need to find the Tinker with the Chrono, or they will lose team fights. There's no other way. And that is the problem with the draft they have.
It's a very hard game for them to win.
And if they overcommit and they get Tinker, Tinker just buys back, and then they lose the fight anyway. So every fight was just so difficult for them to take.
And in the late game, he had Bloodstones, he had he had Aegis as well.
Yeah.
You have to kill that hero multiple times, and you only have 1 Chronosphere. How do you do that?
I mean, even if you take a good fight, he would still just buy back. You don't have a pipe on DC, which, by the way, I think is a huge mistake. Because if you want to ever push against Tinker, you need a pipe. They didn't have a pipe. They didn't have a mech. Did they have Guardian Greaves?
I don't think they did.
They didn't have mech. They didn't have pipe. It's just impossible to push high ground against a Tinker in that situation. He will just rocket you. He will just laser you with an Aghanims. It will bounce on all heroes. Their marches are laying waste to you. You just can't push high ground. It's just not possible.
With that said, though, in those mid-game fights, it was... I mean, they did get nuked down by rockets and stuff, but at late game, he didn't even have eggs, and at that point, I didn't think the pipe was really that useful then. And I kind of like the Glimmer that the Winter Wyvern went for. They just didn't have a hero that could really build the pipe. Yeah. Everybody had to transition to damage, with the exception of Winter Wyvern. He can't get everything.
Yeah, he went Vlads. He went... Like,
the Vlads was maybe the only thing.
He went Vlads, Glimmer... He went like a ton of utility items, but at the end of the day, you only have 6 slots.
Yeah.
You're not still a bear.
I honestly thought DC could win it here when they got those 2 pickoffs, but the split push, man.
Yeah.
I do agree, but like it's really hard to keep track of. But like they lost track of their minimap there, because like Invoker bought back and BOT'd back in right away. He probably could have defended that a little while with a Deafening Blast, but you know you can't really blame him for that. Like, there's no way in a situation like that you have like the perfect overview.
All right, MVP of the series. Floor's yours. We're going to start with Purge.
I feel like we have to give it to Dendy because he played Tinker so ridiculously well. I think as a whole they all played really great though, like consistently across roles. The one player that maybe underperformed a bit was Artstyle. He was like 1-9-0 game 2, but he eventually brought it back up. He had tons of items by the end, so I mean it was really a team effort. But I think you got to give it to Dendy most likely.
Okay, guys agree?
Yeah, I think Dendy for his individual performance, both games on the Nyx and on the Tinker, superb. But overall, I think this is mostly just a draft win out of Na'Vi. It was DC didn't even play bad. It was just so hard for them to win those games because their heroes got countered so hard, or they didn't have the way to deal with Na'Vi's heroes.
Just wrapping up the series because we're going to go to a break in a couple of minutes, but. DC, in the way that they've played in these first 2 games, they've still got to be pleased, Charlie, right? I mean, the series
No,
against,
I
the
don't
series
think
against
they're
Wings
gonna-
and then how they've played against Na'Vi. Not necessarily the result, but the way they've played.
I think they're not going to be super cancerous amongst themselves because of it, but I think they're definitely disappointed because they didn't really give themselves a chance to win these games. They're never going to feel good about the loss.
Okay.
I think they're going to feel like they didn't get a chance to win because the draft was so bad.
Okay. And Black, from the other point of view, Na'Vi, then he's off to the pool. I don't know where the other guys are going to go, but they're going to be pretty chilled tonight. They get a day off tomorrow, another day off the day after that to just watch the Group C, D games. And they're in the upper bracket of the main event.
I mean, honestly, it can't get better than that. You have like you deserve to rest first of all, and then you're gonna watch. They're gonna play against Group C, right? Like the
They're
winner
done.
of Group C.
They're done.
No. I mean in the main event. Who are they gonna play?
The main event, yeah, they'll play in the upper bracket. Yeah.
Yeah, against the winner of
You don't
Group
know.
C.
You don't know.
Oh, no,
It's-
nobody
it's
knows.
Not,
No,
it's
nobody
not
knows.
No.
Well, but they really don't care. They're just gonna lay back. They're like, we did our job well. Who's gonna come close to us? They're gonna analyze. Do they have a coach? Here?
They do not.
No, not official coach anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Arthur has a big brain with coming out of those drafts, so I'm sure he'll handle it just fine.
Yeah.
But they're just gonna relax. They're gonna have a good time, and they must be super happy for sure because nobody thought they would do it.
Yeah.
All right.
They said
Some
that in
people did,
they
I
said
guess.
that in the interview. He said
Yeah.
we lost every scrim yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And then today they go 4-0. It's
And-
incredible.
And I can also
Like,
tell you as well, now I can say this because obviously they're done and they've done the group stage, haven't won a game in any of the scrims. Every team that they've played so far have
No,
beaten.
I don't know about
they-
every team,
yeah.
They
but
have won.
a lot of
one.
teams we heard
Have
from.
they won one?
They
Okay,
have won
yeah.
one.
That's
Not a
ridiculous.
series, but
Yeah.
they've won.
They've won one game.
game.
One game.
One
Yeah.
game in all
Yeah.
the scrims.
That-
Yeah.
that
They
you
were
go
really
from
super
that.
nervous. Super nervous about coming in today because
Yeah.
they've just been playing so poorly and yet they've delivered an incredible performance.
That's like coming into the qualifiers to TI and winning TI. That's what that feels like to me right now. It's like
I
nobody
mean-
can predict that.
To be fair, I think they had a really great matchup against Secret in the beginning, and that gave them a lot of
Yeah.
confidence because honestly, neither of those teams were going into that match looked very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Charlie, Black, and Purge. We are headed to a break, but when we come back, we do have more action from Group B, of course, the lower bracket game where two teams are fighting to survive. They will, of course, stay in the tournament, but they really want to be playing in the upper bracket. We'll find out who stays in and who plays in the lower bracket in the main event after the break.